Welcome to Capital One's presentation of ESPN Bowl Week.
The second annual Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl features one of the country's most electrifying players. Colorado State quarterback Bradley Van Pelt is a two-time Mountain West Conference Player of the Year and one of only 4 players in NCAA history to pass for more than 5,000 and rush for over 2,000 yards. He makes his final appearance against Boston College and Derek Knight, BC's all-time leading rusher, led the Eagles to one of the program's biggest wins to end the regular season and send them bowling. Welcome to Pac Bell Ballpark. It's the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl on New Year's Eve in San Francisco, California. A matchup of Big East and Mountain West Conference teams. The Colorado State University Rams is about ready to take the field here at Pac Bell. They are 7-5, winning their final 2 games against Boston College. The Eagles also winning their final 2 regular season games to gain a bowl berth. Hi, everybody. Mark Malone. Glad you could join us here on this New Year's Eve college football game. Colorado State comes into the game a little nervous about their quarterback situation. Bradley Van Pelt did not finish the regular season. He broke his right hand in the final regular season game against UNLV. He surgically had a 2.5-inch titanium rod inserted in the right hand, and he was only able to throw the ball in 2 practices leading up to this game. I bring in Sean Salisbury, my broadcast partner, and Sean, we both played the position of quarterback. Explain to the folks out there how this could be difficult for Bradley Van Pelt.
Well, Mark, first of all, fatigue sets in. When he hasn't worked that much throughout the last month, fatigue will set in on the thumb, but also on the grip. A lot of times when something's hurting in here in that rod, you adjust your grip, which obviously will have an effect on the throw. And the most important thing in watching this game is how many times the ball's left on the ground. If Van Pelt's playing, the constant pounding, because we know a center, he cannot change the way he snaps the ball. See if Brad Van Pelt can handle that.
And he will be a game-time decision. Meanwhile, Boston College doesn't rely on the pass. They rely on the running game, and that would be Derek Knight, the conference's best rusher.
Yeah, Mark, he averages 5.5 yards a carry, and he can carry it 30 times in a game, even though he's not real big. This is a physical offensive line. They average about 315 pounds. They will hand him the ball, and for Boston College to win tonight, they have got to give him the ball, and that's where their success needs to come from.
College football fans excited as both teams take the field. We'll be back with an update on Bradley Van Pelt when we return. Welcome to the Bay Area, Pac Bell Ballpark, the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. On New Year's Eve, it's college football. The Colorado State Rams at 7-5 taking on Boston College. The Eagles also at 7-5. For an update on Bradley Van Pelt's health, let's bring in Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Hey, Mark, I just spoke with Bradley Van Pelt as they trotted out onto the field prior to this ball game. I said, Bradley, you going to start? He said, not going to start, but I think I'm going to play. It seems the biggest concern in pregame warm-ups was the under-snap contact on that right hand. It really seemed to bother him. If he does play, Colorado State coaches think we'll probably try to keep him in the shotgun. It doesn't seem to be bothering Bradley Van Pelt. His biggest concern about an hour ago, trying to get the equipment manager to let him throw a football over the right field fence so he could see how does Barry Bonds feel when he hits one out of the park. That's Bradley Van Pelt right there, guys.
Yeah, that is Bradley Van Pelt. Thank you, Jimmy. Of course, out in the McCovey Cove out there where Barry has put so many balls. And
he's going to have to throw a lot of balls to equal what
how is this going to affect Colorado State?
Well, Mark, we talked about in the open about the snapping of the ball. We said that could be a factor, and it is because the pounding. But it changes their philosophy. They spend a lot of time they run the ball a lot with the quarterback, designed runs. Justin Holland, the kid who's getting his first start now, is going to come in the sophomore. He's not a big runner, but Mark, I watched him throw and warm up, and we talked to the coaches yesterday. They think this kid's a better thrower than Van Pelt. So you'll see a little bit of a game plan change, and I think you'll see them throw the ball far more and go from there.
Tough decision for Sonny Lubick now in his 11th season at Colorado State, a 67% winning percentage as a head coach there. He's turned that program around. Tom O'Brien, the head coach for Boston College in his 8th season, 47-36, their 5th straight bowl appearance, trying to win their 4th consecutive bowl game. Colorado State won the toss, by the way. They have deferred, so Boston College will receive the ball. That means Jeff Babcock will be doing the kickoff duties for the Rams, and receiving number 1, Will Blackman, a sophomore out of Cranston, Rhode Island.
Let's play some football, Mark.
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
The officials get everybody set, and we're about to kick this thing off on New Year's Eve. Mock the ball deep. Blackman at the 1. Right up the middle, nobody to beat but the kicker. And Mock turns him back inside, and Blackman is tackled at the 41-yard line. A 54-yard return. And Boston College is in business.
Mark, this is the way you want to start your game. Right off, the 1 yard deep, great blocking. The wedge forms and get people out in front, and then you just got to beat the kicker. He gets a little help, but a great job by Blackman. The best returns happen, Mark, when he goes up the middle, where you just take off and run instead of dance around. Nice job by Blackman to get great field position.
So from the 41-yard line, Paul Peterson goes to work. Coming out throwing. Throw off underneath to Grant Adams, who picks up about 5 yards before Dexter Wynn makes the tackle. Paul Peterson, a junior college phenom from Mount Snow College, threw the ball 5,500 yards and 55 touchdowns in 28 starts in junior college.
Yeah, he put it in the air a little bit, and they like his ability to throw it. And used to be a pocket guy, and now he can get on the run. So I expect Boston College to mix in that pass, but this is a running team, Mark.
Just his 3rd career start at Boston College as Derek Knight takes the ball off the left side, down close to the 30, and that'll be enough for a first down. As we take a look now at the rest of that Boston College offense, Derek Knight, as we mentioned, needs 128 yards tonight to break the all-time single-season rushing record. Grant Adams is their go-to wide receiver. Up front, an offensive line that's big and strong, led by the left guard, Augie Hoffman, making his 33rd start, I should say. He is also one of the co-captains on this football team.
3.6 GPA, too, Mark, so he's a smart one up there. We always kid those guys, but he knows what he's doing.
2 tight ends, Peterson on the bootleg. Nobody open, and finally just throws it out of bounds, avoiding the loss. And Goodpaster was there to make the play. As we take a look at the Colorado State defense now. Summersell, man, Brian Savay, an all-conference pick, and Patrick Goodpaster. At the linebacker spots, it's Flora, Drew Wood making his 36th start, and Jamal Hall coming off a right knee injury. In the secondary, it's Stratton, Mastropalo, who's a tackling machine, Lucas Davis, and Dexter Wynn, a 3-time all-conference pick and a very dangerous return man.
So good job by Peterson to throw the ball away and not take a loss of yardage last down.
Come back running the football now as Knight bounces it outside and avoids a couple of tackles before being drawn down at the 22-yard line. A gain of 8. Summersell and Jeff Flora were in on the tackle.
Hey, Mark, we talk about the dominance up front and the big guys from Boston College, but every now and then a back's got to make somebody miss. He bounces it outside with this angle. Take a look now. Put your foot on the ground. Boop. Just hop back up inside. Make 2 or 3 guys miss. Get that extra 4 or 5 yards. There's a reason he averages 5.5 yards a carry.
5'9", 207 pounds. Not a particularly big guy, but does everything he needs to get big runs when he has to. Knight, the ball again, stopped at the line of scrimmage, breaks another tackle down inside the 10 and dragged down by Lucas Davis, the free safety at about the 6-yard line. A gain of 16 on the play.
Yeah, Mark, we talk about BYOB, bring your own blocker. That's what he does. Unblocked man, what's he do? Pops right by him, a little bit physical. We saw the move last time. Physical this time, don't be misled. Even though he's not real big, he runs with great power. This is a good drive. Started off with great field position.
Andre Summersell, the right defensive end, had Knight stopped for a loss, but couldn't hold on to the tackle. 2 tight ends now for the Eagles. Knight gets the ball again to the right side and stopped for maybe a yard pickup before Drew Wood, the middle linebacker, is right there on the stop.
Hey, what do you think their game plan is, Mark? Line it up and give it to Derek Knight a few times. He, like I said, 20 to 30 carries, and he's got himself, they want to control the tempo of the game because you want to keep that Mountain West Conference off the field.
96 yards away from the single-season record at Boston College. He already holds the record all time, and Mike Cloud is the man in his way to erase that name from the record books. And he gets the ball off the left side and drives his way. Touchdown, Boston College.
That right there was too easy. That's not what you want if you're Colorado State. This is why Big East football is considered a physical conference. Have a look now, right behind the left side of the line. Nice job of cross blocking there. And then Knight does it again. Takes on a blocker, 3 guys trying to bring him down. Gets into the end zone. An impressive start running the football for Boston College.
Just at 207 pounds, Lucas Davis could not make the tackle, and Sandro Shortino on for the extra point. It's up, and it's good. A 5-yard touchdown by Derek Knight gives the Eagles an early 7-0 lead. We're back right after this. It's New Year's Eve in San Francisco, the Diamond Wallet San Francisco Bowl. Boston College jumping out to a 7-0 lead on their first drive of the night. 7 plays, 41 yards, 36 of those came by Derek Knight. He had a 5-yard touchdown run to put the Eagles up early in this football game. Now Colorado State gets another chance, and Dexter Wynn, the senior from Colorado Springs, one of the best returners in the country, averaging nearly 30 yards of return, has a long of 88 this season.
This has been a Boston College weakness too, Mark. They've given up 5 touchdowns on returns this year.
Shortino, a high short kick that will not be fielded by Wynn. Instead, David Anderson, the wide receiver, takes it and is tackled at the 27-yard line. Well, there's your quarterback, folks. Justin Holland, his first career collegiate start, a sophomore out of Lakewood, Bear Creek. And this gentleman here is the most prolific passer in Colorado high school history. He also, by the way, Sean, you might remember, led this football team to an 80-yard winning drive in the regular season finale against UNLV to get Colorado State into this bowl game.
And that's why this team believes in him, because he's done it on the field. That's how you gain respect. I fully expect him to cut him loose and throw the football all over the lot tonight.
Anderson in motion to the top of your screen. Holland bootlegs right, plenty of time, and looks down the field and has a wide open tight end. Matt Bartz, number 92, out of Concordia, Kansas, with a big catch.
I love it, Mark, when a guy comes out when the offensive coordinator calls a play to get him some momentum right out. Nice play action, little bootleg. Good job of keeping his head up the field, throwing to the open man, leading him away from trouble. Doesn't run him into trouble, keeps him sitting in the lane. Nice job for the big gain. Huge confidence builder for the young quarterback.
Just the 14th catch on the year for Bartz, who has started 12 games for the Rams. They come out running now. That's Marcus Houston off the right side for about 3 yards. As we take a look at the rest of that Ram offense, we just mentioned Marcus Houston. David Anderson needs just 35 yards at wide receiver to become the single-season all-time receiving yards leader at Colorado State. When we look at the big guys up front, they're a pretty good group, including the right tackle, Eric Pears, 6'8", 307, a first-team all-conference selection, making his 29th start tonight. 3 wide receiver set now for the Rams. Bunch right. Dustin Osborne in motion. Holland, the swing pass to Houston, who's hit immediately by Blackman at the 40-yard line and picks up a couple of yards. Take a look at the BC defense now, and it's Medling, Goodwin, and Martin up front, along with Matthias Kiwanuka. They call him Kiwi. He's the Big East sack leader king this year with 12 sacks. At linebacker, it's Ricky Brown, Ray Henderson, and Josh Ott leads the team in tackles. He is also a co-captain. In the backfield, it's Sheen, Stencil, Paul Cook, and Will Blackman, who just made the tackle. Probably the most athletic of all the defensive backs for the Eagles. Houston gets the pitch left and is tackled at the 40 for no gain by Doug Goodwin. And that brings up a 4th down, Sean, and you're in that no man's land. What does Sonny Lubick do here?
You know what, Mark? You're in a situation here. I punt it, and I try to back him up because that drive last time was way too easy because they got the short field. You try to coffin corner this thing, get it inside the 10, and allow your defense now to cover the long field. You don't want them to have the ball right here and have another short field where they don't have to go far, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to punt it.
Jeff Babcock, the junior out of Tampa, Florida, has punted 17 balls inside the 20. He's averaging 42.3 yards per punt this season. Blackman is deep, end over end punt, and down at the 2-yard line by Matt Bartz. Matt Bartz, who made the big reception in this game earlier offensively, makes a great special teams play. 38 yards on the punt.
Nice job. Low punts are a little bit dangerous, but he did a nice job with a little golf ball spin on it, Mark. Come down there, nice job. Colorado State has wonderful special teams. They're going to have to win that to stay in this physical battle with Boston College. Nice job by the punter. Now, Mark, you make them go 98 yards instead of the 40 or so that they had to go to score last time. Now we're going to see if Boston College can continue this and what kind of moxie the defense of Colorado State has.
Colorado State's defense giving up considerable amount of size to that Big East offensive line, but they swarm to the ball. They make plays with their speed. Boston College comes out running the ball again, and Knight nailed at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Drew Wood, number 50, the middle linebacker, was there to make the play. Take a look at Boston College and what they've been able to do to get into the San Francisco Bowl. We said they finished 7-5. Their first 6 games, they were 4-2. The last 6 games, they were 3-3, but they won their last 2, including a game at Blacksburg against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, and even though Penn State struggled this year, Mark, whenever you go in to play those guys at Happy Valley and in Blacksburg, nice, impressive job with those 3 wins. Huge wins for Boston College this year.
Knight gets the ball again, and coming up is the safety, the free safety, Lucas Davis, who misses the tackle. Finally, Benny Masterpolo, the strong safety, is there to bring down Knight after an 8-yard gain.
Mark, when you're playing against a team, and you know this because you played on a lot of physical teams with the Pittsburgh Steelers, that you got to know who to get and how to get them. So if we're not going to be able to match up physically, we got to beat them to the punch if I'm Colorado State. But when you do beat them, too many missed tackles in the first series, and right there another missed tackle. You have got to swarm to the ball and wrap up, or it'll be a long night for the Colorado State defense.
Colorado State's defense has had plenty of opportunities to tackle Knight, and Knight has been able to make the first man miss almost on a regular basis. This time it's play action, the bootleg outside by Peterson, and again looking deep for number 5, Grant Adams, and there's a flag on the play. Dexter Wynn was there in coverage, but the coverage was a little too good for Mr. Wynn.
I'm not so sure it wasn't the offensive pushed off, but we'll get a chance to see that, Mark, after we get the call.
A Big 12 officiating crew, by the way, led by the referee John Laurie.
Defense, 15 yards.
And they're going to call it against Dexter Wynn. Let's take another look at that.
You've got to find the ball if you're the defensive back, and then they won't call it. If you're playing the man, you're going to get it all the time. There's the throw by Peterson. Oh, yeah, nice job. That's a good call. That was the receiver trying to fight his way back, and Dexter Wynn grabbed him right around the waist. You see there. Holds with the right hand. That's a nice job and a good call. That's why I love replay. I can always be right up here with the replay.
Well, unlike the NFL, it's only a 15-yard penalty, not the spot of the foul. 2 wide receivers and 2 tight ends now for Boston College as Knight goes back to work off the right-hand side. And Masterpolo is up to make the tackle after a 3-yard gain.
Masterpolo flies around, Mark, doesn't he?
Well, it's interesting, Sean, because when talking to the BC coaches, they say this is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense to the T, and Benny Masterpolo is the John Lynch of this defense. And remember, Monty Kiffin's son goes to Colorado State, Chris Kiffin, so you understand the connection.
And every time, most every spring, Monty comes out here and visits with them and talks about the new changes in that cover 2 defense, and Monty's as good as there is at teaching that.
Knight, the handoff off the left side and tackled by Jeff Flora. No gain on the play, and that's going to bring up 3rd down.
Now this is a down and distance if you're Colorado State. You like, Mark, if you saw Flora make the tackle, gets in the backfield, wraps up, doesn't allow Knight to break the tackle. Now it's 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5. You make Paul Peterson beat you instead of this game when it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3, where you get to dictate the tempo on offense.
Again, Peterson just making his 3rd career start for BC. He came in late in the year for Quentin Porter, who was injured with a concussion. But Peterson has been very, very good. A 23-year-old junior, a transfer from Mount Snow Junior College. The quarterback draw up inside off the left side and out past the 35-yard line. It'll be enough for a first down, a pickup of 6 on the play before Lavelle Mann, the defensive tackle, to bring down the quarterback.
Nice job. That was a built-in quarterback draw. Just snap in the gun, 2 steps, set it up, get your back in there as a lead blocker. Nice job by him. Offensive line getting to the 2nd level. They got the 5.5 that they needed for the first down. Real efficient what Coach O'Brien and Boston College has done on these first 2 drives.
Peterson listed as 6'1". He might be 5'10", but I'll tell you what, he's a gutty guy who will also run some option tonight, most likely as well. Play action. Looking deep and finding his receiver up underneath. Out to the 48-yard line as we check in with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Hey guys, Boston College offensive coordinator Dana Bible told us earlier this week the last thing he tells his quarterback prior to the ball game and early in the game is make sure you find the speed of the game. Don't be too fast, don't be too slow. Looks like Paul Peterson has a pretty good groove right now in this ball game early.
Jimmy, you couldn't be more right. What Coach Bible means by that, and there you see Dana Bible right there as the offensive coordinator, is he means that you don't want to come out too juiced up because the ball flies out of your hand and people aren't the same tempo mark, and it's the same, you don't want to be too lackadaisical where your feet aren't in position to throw the football.
He's got a deep wide receiver. That is Larry Lester. Touchdown, Boston College. 50 yards on the touchdown strike. Ben Stratton was victimized. And Larry Lester, the converted defensive back who caught 3 touchdowns in sporadic time this season, opens up the score 14-0.
And Jimmy Dykes, you make a great point talking about playing to the speed of the game. Have a look, just a deep post over the top. Peterson knows exactly where he's going to go. The best you can hope for in football is man-to-man coverage. A little bit underthrown, but he was beat so badly. Lester with the touchdown. Nice throw. It looks to me like Peterson knows where he's going to go with the ball right when he comes out by reading that defense, Mark.
Sorrentino makes good on the extra point, and it's a 2-touchdown game immediately for Boston College with 6:05 left. The Eagles striking on a 50-yard touchdown pass from Peterson to Larry Lester. Can Colorado State answer without Bradley Van Pelt?
ESPN2's exclusive presentation of the 2003 Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl.
Happy New Year's Eve to everybody at Pac-Bell Ballpark. A 7-play, 98-yard drive that was capped off by a 50-yard touchdown catch by Larry Lester from Paul Peterson. And we have a 14-0 ball game. Boston College over Colorado State as Dexter Wynn is back deep to receive now for the Rams from the 2. And he's tackled at the 23-yard line.
Okay, Mark, have a look at the last play of the touchdown. Safety here. We call this zero coverage. This is how you get a guy out zero, meaning there's no free safety in the middle of the field. And we're going to be able to freeze it right here to show the safety jumping the tight end as he crosses. Going to allow the post to get right over the top, and he's giving him all that inside room. That's like shooting fish in a barrel, Mark. I've never done it, but I imagine it'd be pretty easy. Nice job. Great job by Peterson to read the safety out of the middle. And you always want that when you're trying to go over the top. Good job by the tight end to get to that second level to hold the safety.
So Justin Holland now gets a second shot as Anderson motions across, and they hand the football off inside to Jimmy Green, who picks up absolutely nothing. Jeff Flora, the linebacker's there to make the stop as it's a loss of 2 yards.
You know, Mark, with Bradley Van Pelt on the bench, his last game before he moves on, he's had a great career here. I got to believe he's probably, because you know how feisty he is. We know him. He loves to talk it, loves to play it, and he's a linebacker. Like his old man who played in the NFL, he's a linebacker's mentality. But the thing is, the longer he sits over there, the tougher it is for him to play because that hand will continue to get stiffer. So right now, Holland looks like the man that's going to have to lead him. 2nd
and 2, the bootleg. Anderson, the quick pass. And inside or outside the 30 to about the 32-yard line before Paul Cook, the strong safety, makes the stop, and that'll bring up 3rd down and about 2.
David Anderson's had a good year. It's been a good run and a good career for him.
He came into this game needing 35 yards to break the single-season all-time receiving yards record held at by Miller at 1193. And again, he came into the ballgame 67 catches over 1,100 yards.
And he scores. He gets into the end zone. Kid from Westlake Village and still got a couple years left, Mark. Understands how to get to the spot when he's running routes, and he should come up big tonight. Like I say, Holland, watching him in warm-ups, the quarterback, he could flat out throw it. And in order to keep them in this game, they're going to have some big plays.
Holland throws the deep ball extremely well, according to the 2 offensive coordinators, John Benton and Dan Hammerschmidt. And he comes out to play action in the flat to Joel Dreesen, the H-back, breaks a tackle and out near the 40-yard line, and that's going to be good enough to move the chains. A gain of 9 for the Rams.
Mark, in this situation here with the quarterback and a young quarterback and a team that's down 14-0, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, throw the ball up top, go after it right now. There's no reason to panic. It's still early, plenty of time in the first quarter. You can be methodical And here it is again, Holland. I like the fact, gets his body around quickly, no hesitation, getting it out to Dreesen in the flat, allowing him to break a tackle. But you stick with the game plan because you're only 2 touchdowns down, and we know that Mountain West Conference, Mark, they could score like crazy.
They certainly can. Come out running. Green with the ball, straight forward for a pickup of about 4 yards. And Friday Capital One Bowl Week continues as ESPN and Charlie Whitehurst. That high-powered Clemson offense meet Casey Clausen and the Tennessee Volunteers. And the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl coverage begins with a special College Game Day Bowl special at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 Pacific. For more information, you can log on to ESPN.com. So 2nd down and 7 now. Dreesen in motion, play action. Throws the ball outside to Anderson, wide open at the 45 and hit immediately by Will Blackman, but that'll be more than enough for the first down, a pickup of 13 yards.
Mark, you can watch a kid throw the football and it kind of just jumps out of their hand. Nice job up top. Anderson understanding the route, just a nice speed out. Ball gets out there in a hurry. Nice job by Holland allowing Anderson to make the move after the catch. Good job getting it out quickly. A lot of times you'll see that ball caught on the sideline and step out of bounds, Mark. Holland's not wasting any time throwing that football.
5 of 5 for 64 yards so far for Justin Holland, who drops back again and again finds Anderson off the right side, a pickup of about 9 yards. Peter Sheen, the corner, was in coverage.
6 for 6 so far on his first start, 78 yards. I think they're going to have to throw it. I like what they're doing here, and they're giving him the short ball. They got him over the middle, moving the pocket a little bit, Mark, getting it out in the flat. And eventually what happens if you're defense, you get tired of that short stuff, as you know. Then you do a double move and get the ball up top, and Holland can throw it as good as anybody on this field today.
Again, just a sophomore. He's going to have 2 more years as a starter at Colorado State. 2nd and 1. Wraps it down to Waste as Holland audibles at the line of scrimmage. The draw to Green. Puts it on the ground, but Colorado State falls right on it. And that'll probably be enough for a first down.
You know, Mark, when we talk to those coaches about if, in fact, Bradley Van Pelt could not play, you know, normally you'd see that Brook Trout look on coach saying, oh, my gosh, what are we going to do? Our starter and our 2-time conference player of the year is not playing. But they were so confident with Holland because you talked about that 80-yard drive and talk about what he's done in practice with Van Pelt not playing much over this last month. He has got the confidence of this team, and I can see why.
The 8th play of this drive. Play action. Plenty of time to the right side, and Holland throws, and an interception made by T.J. Stansel. Stansel down the left side and has some blockers. Stansel finally tackled at the 29-yard line. And after a perfect start by Justin Holland, the sophomore quarterback making his first collegiate start, he makes a mistake, and a 51-yard return by T.J. Stansel, the junior safety from Pennsylvania.
He got a little greedy there, Mark. Got a little greedy. He had a man right in front of him in the flat, should have taken it, but he tried to get too much. We talked about his patience on those 8 completions. He got a little bit impatient and threw the ball down the field. When you got him in, you never pass up a covered man to throw to somebody down the field, and he did that. And Mark, we've both been sophomores in college. We know that's not easy to do, trying to make a play.
Stansel's first interception of the season as Boston College now takes over at the 29. And they go to work with Derek Knight off the right-hand side, steps out of a tackle and then dragged to the ground by Andre Summersell, the right defensive end, a pickup of 6.
And here's what we're talking about, Mark. You're going to see Holland come out. You're going to see Ty right there in the flat. Throw him the ball in front of you right now, but he forces it down the field trying to make the big play. When that body shows in front of you, your own player, tight end right in front of you, throw it to him. Tried to get greedy, force it. Easy interception for Stansel. And they got great field position again, does the Boston College Eagles.
Couple of big plays, an injured player on the ground, Andre Summersell. They'll tend to them. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more action right after this. Back at the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl, Boston College up by 2 touchdowns with 1:42 remaining in the first quarter, and they're on the move again. As you look at Bradley Van Pelt, who did not start this game. Remember, he had a 2.5-inch titanium rod surgically implanted in that fractured right hand. But after the interception by Holland, Van Pelt warms up on the sideline. We'll keep an eye on that for you. 2nd down and 3. Play action. Peterson got a man open on the crossing route and caught down inside the 5-yard line by Joel Hazard. 19 yards on the pickup.
That's a great job by Peterson. Now, Mark, at the other end, we saw Holland force it. Watch Peterson's patience and allow him as a crosser. Come over, flat, 2nd level, and here's the crosser entering right in between the two. Nice job and very good deployment by the receivers to give him a 3-level route read, and hits the 2nd man. Nice job. He went through his progression. There's a reason why this team's moving the ball so successful.
2 tight ends in the football game now for the Eagles, and Knight goes to work on the ground off the left side before Drew Wood hits him right around the line of scrimmage. Maybe a pickup of about a half a yard on the play. Drew Wood from Buena Vista, Colorado. His 36th start as a senior, 6'2", 235 pounds, and really the guy that gets it done for that defense. John.
Yeah, and Mark, you know what? He's keeps people in line as far as playing and knows how to deploy him. But also what I love, he looks like a football player, doesn't he? He just got that linebacker look, and he is a tough physical player. He's going to need to make more tackles tonight.
2nd down, Knight off the right side and just pushes that big offensive line into the end zone. And it's a 3-touchdown ball game for Boston College.
Running the football is an attitude. And especially when you're talking about the 5 guys and the tight end up front, have a look at the domination, pushing and kicking people. And when you don't make contact and the lineman's got you 3 yards deep in the end zone, you don't have a chance to make a tackle. That's just Big East football, physical, pound you in the mouth and see how you respond. And so far, Colorado State has not responded.
Chartano is good for the extra point, and Boston College is up 21-0 with 34 seconds remaining. Bradley Van Pelt gets ready for the Colorado State University Rams. The Big East down to an early 21-0 lead over Colorado State. 34 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. After the interception, Boston College takes 4 plays and caps it off with a 2-yard run. The 2nd touchdown of the night by Derek Knight. As Sandro Shortino kicks the ball deep, and Dexter Wynn will take it from the 10. Cuts it back and finally tackled at the 33-yard line as we check in with Jimmy Dykes.
Hey, Mark, because of all the field level seating here at Pac-Bell Stadium, both ball clubs are on the same sidelines during this ball game. Interesting, during that last touchdown drive by Boston College, during the touchdown run, about half the kids for Boston College were watching the game. The other half, they were turned around watching Bradley Van Pelt warm up. That tells you the attention that he's got right now for Colorado State.
Bradley Van Pelt in the football game, and he's thrown for over 2,600 yards, but he's also the leading rusher with 844 yards rushing on the season. The toss outside to Green, who stretches it and finally hit and drug out of bounds at about the 32-yard line by a host of BC defenders. Patrick McShane led the charge.
You know, Mark, I think that Holland did a nice job throwing the football, the 1 interception. This is also, you know, it's Van Pelt's last game as a Colorado State Ram, but also you want that momentum switcher. That's what this guy gives you, attitude, and we know he's got that. He's improved as a passer, but it's the attitude and the heart and guts he plays with, and it's he's in there and trying to rally this team, and I'm sure he's playing hurt, and that snap probably hurts his hand every time, but he's a tough kid.
Green gets the ball again to the right side and immediately hit at the line of scrimmage by Jasmine Williams, the corner. A gain of 1 on the play. And that's going to do it for the end of the first quarter here in San Francisco, the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. So far, it's been all Boston College. Derek Knight has had his way behind a big offensive line and some big strikes in the passing game. Colorado State tries to come back when we come back. Happy New Year, everybody. The Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. That is Derek Knight, who's been the focal point of that Boston College offense. They lead 21-0 at this point as we begin the second quarter. Knight, 10 carries, 56 yards on the night, and we've still got 3 quarters of football to play, Sean.
Yeah, we do. And Justin Holland, you see there, young quarterback, 8 and 9, I think, Mark. Those are one costly interception, but looking for a momentum switcher. So Bradley Van Pelt, who's had such a great career here at Colorado State, gets a chance not only to help his team, but I'm sure there's some scouts in the house watching this kid too tonight.
First third down for Van Pelt, 3rd and 9. Dreesen shifts over to the right side. The bootleg. Van Pelt doesn't like what he sees, and this is what he does so well. Takes off and runs. It'll be out close to the 42-yard line, 43-yard line. It's going to be close to the first down. And by where they're marketing, they'll move the chains. So Colorado State will get a fresh set of downs.
He is very decisive when he runs the football, Mark. He understands, and with the hand bothering him, he may pull it down a little bit more so he doesn't have to worry about the throw. But there you see Van Pelt, no hesitation, moves those chains, gets that football. Nice job. Again, here we go, a little play action, get him out on the boot. Nobody's open, right up the gut, make that run. He's not going to slide for many people, Mark. He's going to play football.
He
That's
plays
his mentality.
the position like a linebacker as they hand the ball up inside to Jimmy Green, who picks up maybe 2 yards out to the 45. Van Pelt came into this football game with total offense, the career leader at Colorado State, 8,215 yards. That is getting it done. And he's developed himself into a guy that is a pretty good passer.
Yeah, he is. Gotten a lot better as a passer.
Dreesen in motion. Van Pelt slings it out to the H-back, who's upended at the 49-yard line. Earlier, Bradley Van Pelt commented about his hand.
Just about 2.5-inch titanium rod starting about halfway through my knuckle. Ends about right up here, and it's a little piece that you could feel it right here. In a couple weeks, actually, we'll have surgery again to take it back out. And, you know, we have to chip away some bone that's growing around it. And then there'll be another healing process that won't last 3 weeks. It'll last just a couple days or so. So that's pretty much the hand. It's a titanium hand now, stronger than ever, right here.
You could rebuild him, can't you, Mark?
I'll tell you, there's some swelling in that hand, though. And it has been sore the last couple of days as Boston College comes on the blitz. Van Pelt finds Anderson on the crossing route, and he's tackled at the 37-yard line by T.J. Stansel. A pickup of 11 on the play.
Every time I look up, number 4, Mr. Anderson's getting open. The patience of Van Pelt. Mark, a year or two ago, he would have took off and ran when he wasn't supposed to. He wouldn't have read it out. Does a nice job coming back into that pocket. Eye in the secondary. Trusts his protection there. Green does a nice job on the pickup. Puts it right out in front to Dave Anderson. The pitch and the catch, the first down, and Colorado State's got a drive going. They must answer here to get back in this football game.
Anderson, 4 catches for 45 yards on this young evening. They go back to work. Green hit at the line of scrimmage by Tom Martin. And David Anderson has set a new school record for single-season receiving yards, eclipsing the one held by Miller. He was at 1193, and Anderson now at 1203.
And with 2 years left to go, Mark, the record he'll be chasing is his own. And with 1,200 yards, and he's going to lose Bradley Van Pelt, but he can break in Justin Holland just as well the next 2 years. And his night's just beginning tonight, so he may run roughshod over that record.
I did a game earlier this season where Colorado State played Air Force, and Anderson had 9 catches for 199 yards in that game. Boston College comes with a blitz. The ball thrown just behind Anderson, who was running the slant route. The coverage by Jasmine Williams, but the throw off the mark.
Man, Mark, those short throws, those quick slants or quick hitches or outs may be the toughest for Van Pelt because, you know, when you're dropping back trying to get the grip and adjust your grip, the longer routes you have more time to develop. But when you're taking a 3-step drop, you got to get the ball in your hand and get it out. And that may be part of the reason the ball was thrown behind Anderson on the slant route.
That'll bring up 3rd and 8, and the Rams come out with a 3-wide receiver set now. And the delayed blitz. Van Pelt again over the middle and finds Dreesen, the H-back, at about the 32-yard line, and that looks like it'll be enough for a first down, a pickup of 10.
Dreesen's a reliable player, H-back tight end for him, Mark. Nice job of getting over the middle. And again, all the space. Van Pelt slides to his left, give himself some room, squares up his body so he can make that throw across his body and move that thing. It's not going to look pretty for Bradley Van Pelt tonight. Ball won't spiral all the time, but as long as they're moving it, that's just his attitude and the way he plays, and that's what Colorado State and Coach Lubick need out of their leader.
Osborne motions across the formation, and Van Pelt tucks it down off the blitz and carries a couple of BC tacklers forward for maybe a yard gain on the play. Ricky Brown, the linebacker, was there first for the Eagles.
Good job inside of getting pressure, and you saw it took 3 or 4 guys to bring him down. Little designed quarterback draw, but if you don't win at the line of scrimmage, your quarterback gets himself hurt and pounded, and Van Pelt at least works his way back to about a half-a-yard gain. And Mark, he's one of the more animated players in college I've ever been around.
He is a free spirit. There is no doubt about it. He gets under the center now for the 10th play of this drive for Colorado State. Barks switches the strength of the offensive formation, and here comes the play action. There's a flag on the play, and rolling right, he finds Anderson, and Anderson makes the catch at about the 7-yard line. Let's see what the flag is. A pickup of 20. Van Pelt puts so much pressure on a defense when he rolls out, and they give him a double option like that.
Offside, defense, penalties decline, first down.
Mark, you make a great point about that, because you get a quarterback who can run and throw. Now with the success and all the running he's done, if you're a defense now, you charge because you do not want Van Pelt to run the football. And what you do, you get out of your throwing lane and out of your coverage to stop Van Pelt from the run, and he's got presence of mind enough to keep his head up the field. That's what happens because he's progressed as a thrower, Mark. We know he can run, but now he's looking to pass when he runs. And you're right, that's the toughest thing a defense could defend, is that guy who can run and throw.
So after giving up 21 points in the first quarter, Bradley Van Pelt has come off the bench and faces first and goal now from the 7. A chance to get the Rams on the board. Green up the middle, touchdown Colorado State.
I guess we see now why Bradley Van Pelt came off the bench, huh? You know what? With the size difference for BC, they got the advantage physical. But look at Colorado State, a little bit of attitude themselves, and Green with the extra effort to get into the end zone. Nice job of keeping his pad level below Boston College. Great drive by Bradley Van Pelt. That's how you have to answer so you're not in a major chase mode in this football game.
Jeff Babcock on for the extra point. It's up, and it's good.
I think these guys like to respond to Van Pelt, don't you, Mark?
Bradley Van Pelt, the clear leader of the Colorado State's football team, as he hands the ball off to Green, who scores, and it's 21-7 Boston College. We're right back. 10:24 remaining in the second quarter. Colorado State comes back and scores a touchdown to make this 21-7 now, thanks to Bradley Van Pelt, who did not start this football game, Sean.
Yeah, and Mark, you remember the interception that Holland threw. If they go down and score there, Van Pelt's probably still on the sidelines, but you needed a momentum switcher. Even though Holland was throwing the ball pretty well, the result or what you're looking for in that man right there, Bradley Van Pelt, understands how to lead a football team, and that's why he's now back in the football game.
Kevin Marks sends it off deep, and Will Blackman will take it at the 6. And he'll be tackled at about the 32-yard line. If you're just joining us here on this New Year's Eve, let's get you caught up to date. Early and often, it was all BC. Derek Knight, BC's all-time leading rusher, scored twice on touchdowns behind that big offensive line of the Eagles. And then Bradley Van Pelt, who did not start this football game, came off the bench and went 4 of 5, a 12-play drive that went 68 yards and finished off with a 7-yard touchdown run by Jimmy Green. And we've got ourselves a football game. Van Pelt on the sidelines. Doesn't look like he's hurting too much, Sean.
No, and I was down there for pregame warm-up, and I heard some young gal yell out, "Oh, Bradley, we love you." And they call him Sunshine, you know, on Remember the Titans?
Sure.
Sunshine, and he kind of looks like him, too. Has that free-spirited attitude, kid from Santa Barbara. But he's just a player, Mark. You know what? Football players, I know, you know, some guys look prettier in uniforms. It's just a tough, good football player who gets it done.
Personal foul on the Eagles on the kickoff, a 15-yard penalty, and they've been moved back now to the 16-yard line, 1st and 10. And Peterson comes out throwing off the play action, has a tight end who catches it and then drops it. Question is, will this be a catch or a non-catch? Sean Ryan was the tight end. Lucas Davis, the free safety, was there to put on the lick for the Rams.
Mark, that was a catch. He got a couple feet down before the ball was jarred loose, but a nice job, presence of mind to go back and get that football after Ryan laid it on the ground. And I love the way Peterson, and there's no hesitation in his game, the middle of the field wide open, nice job, very big hit. But watch Ryan now hop up and beat Colorado State. They're playing faster than Colorado State is right now, Mark. Even though they're bigger, they're playing faster, and Ryan wanted that football more and did a nice job of getting to it.
Sean Ryan, the tight end, leads the team in touchdown receptions with 6 on the season. Haven Perkins now in at fullback. And Greg Toll will carry the ball, but pick up maybe a yard on the play to make it 2nd and 10. Brian Sauvé, the all-conference nose tackle from Santa Ana, California, was there to make the stop for the Rams.
One thing for Colorado State, after Van Pelt and that offense responds, you want to come out as a defense and stop them. Okay, you don't get the 3 and out now, but you sure like to stop them and get yourself some field position, just so you could change the momentum of the game. You scored, but the last thing you want now is BC to come out, if you're Colorado State, and shove it down your throat again and go on a nice long drive.
So they spread the formation out now on 2nd down and 8. Peterson, the straight drop, and throws the ball deep. Intended for Larry Lester, the speed demon, but it is way off the mark. Brandon Capney was in coverage. If you're joining us here on this New Year's Eve, welcome to the San Francisco area. It is the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. Colorado State and Boston College from Pac Bell Park. I'm Mark Malone along with Sean Salisbury. Jimmy Dykes is covering the action for us down on the field, and we'll join him periodically throughout the game as we take a look at the total yardage. And we see the Rams are making inroads to Boston College's 170 yards. Third and 8. Peterson from the shotgun. Plenty of time and finds Grant Adams wide open on the in route. And he's hauled down at the 48-yard line by Cathy and Lucas Davis. A pickup of 18 yards, another Boston College first down.
Grant Adams on too much cushion here too, Mark. Nice job of separation by Adams. Peterson was patient, steps up in the pocket to buy some time, and then makes the throw on a little crossing route, gets it to him and allows him to run after the catch. That is a huge conversion on 3rd down to move those chains and get it on Colorado State's side of the field.
Peterson down the seam, intended for Dave Cachetta, and what a shot. Benny Masterpalo from Fullerton, California, the man they say plays the John Lynch position in this Tampa Bay Buccaneers-like defense, just laid the hammer down on Cachetta.
Well, and put a 47 on him like Lynch wears, because that right there was punishment. You could see that coming. The ball got a little too much air on it. Peterson stares down, tight end running down the field. Have a look. Hello, who's your daddy? Well, they say, you've got mail. Nice job, Masterpalo, putting a hit on him. That's what he's, I don't want to say paid to do because we're in college, Mark, but that's what he's supposed to do.
Derek Knight carries the ball off the right side, a pickup of about 4 yards on the play. Jamal Hall, who spent some time on the sideline towards the end of the season with a right knee injury, is back in the lineup, and he made the tackle.
Mark, we talked earlier in the first quarter about putting Boston College in these situations, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. They're in the long yardage again now, but Peterson's responded pretty doggone good to keep that punter off the field and continue to move it, and he's in the situation again, 3rd and 6. Colorado State should have the advantage here, but they have not stopped them yet.
Another chance to get off the field. 3 for 3 on 3rd down conversions, and Peterson is flushed right. Down the field, it has Adams open, but a great play by Lucas Davis, the free safety, who comes over and gets a hand in to knock it away.
There's that stop Colorado State needed. There's that stop Colorado State needed now. They'll be back to receive this punt. But a good job of running that down, catch-up speed, that ball's in the air.
Wow.
Makes a nice breakup. Excellent job.
Lucas started the last 2 games at the free safety spot. Likes to play on the slot. Jeff Gomulinski now is back to punt for Boston College. Dexter Wynn, who's averaging 13 yards a return, sets up at the 9. It's a high punt. Short. Fair catch. And Wynn fair catches it at about the 18-yard line. A punt of 26 yards. And Bradley Van Pelt at Colorado State will have the ball when we come back. Back here in San Francisco, Pac Bell Ballpark. Usually the home of Barry Bonds, the Giants. Tonight it's college football on this New Year's Eve.
What a great park, huh, Mark?
It is a great park.
It's awesome.
Boston College Eagles out to an early 21 points in the first quarter. Now Bradley Van Pelt has come off the bench and led Colorado State to a touchdown. And he's back out on the field now as the Rams take over. 1st and 10 from the 19. Van Pelt looks deep and has Anderson out to the 37-yard line. Plenty enough for a first down. Will Blackman was on the coverage, and decision by Sonny Lubick to go ahead and break Bradley Van Pelt off the bench after not starting him, Sean.
Yeah, Mark, you go through warm-ups and watch him, and you say, okay, we're not going to start him. We're going to give Justin Holland a chance. And Holland was throwing the ball well. But if they go down on the one where Holland throws the interception and score, I don't believe Bradley Van Pelt's in the game. They fall down 21-0. They need a momentum switch, and they're getting it with Van Pelt's performance.
I would say, too, that Holland probably practiced for a whole month, where Van Pelt got maybe a couple days coming into this football game. But he looks pretty sharp as they hand the ball off to Green, and he crawls his way up to about the 39-yard line. Josh Ott makes the tackle after a 2-yard gain. The first 2 drives of the night for the Rams, just 77 yards. The last drive, 68 yards in the touchdown.
Yeah, that man, Bradley Van Pelt, was the man leading him on that drive. And, Mark, you made a great point about rewarding basically Justin Holland. He got all that practice time to see if he can get into a rhythm. It won't break his confidence because that young man could throw it, but Van Pelt's the guy they need right now.
Hill and Anderson slot left, the little screen outside, and it doesn't fool anybody on the BC defense as we check in now with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Talking about the right hand, the injured right hand of Bradley Van Pelt. Well, that's not the only injured right hand to be concerned with if you're Colorado State. Starting center Mark Dreyer injured that right hand against California in the opener. He then snapped 5 games in a row with his left hand. He's now back to his right hand. Not 100% right hand from the center or the quarterback right now for Colorado State.
Jimmy, that's a very good point. An all-conference selection. They call him the old man because he walks around like he's 50 and is scheduled for possible knee surgery after this game. Osborne to the slot right. Van Pelt on the drag route. Out to the 50. Down the sideline and finally forced out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Dexter Wynn, Mark, going both ways.
25 yards on the pickup. Eric Hill, the wide receiver. And Dexter Wynn doing it on both sides of the ball.
Nice little crossing right. Get it out to a fast Dexter Wynn. Kind of likes to do a little bit of both, play on the defense and the offensive side. Get him out in the open field, and he can use what he does on special teams. And, Mark, with the center and the quarterback, everybody should have something wrong with their hand if those 2 guys play that good. And I can't tell people how difficult it is to snap with both hands. That is hard to do.
Green takes the ball off the left side, spins his way out to about the 35-yard line for a pickup of 3 yards on the play.
Because the ball definitely comes up different, Mark. I mean, with the right hand, and then you go around and switch it and snap it left hand, you got to have the same velocity. You got to get the ball to the quarterback the same way because they expect to get the laces all the time. So Mark Dreyer deserves a lot of credit for that. So 2 guys with injured hands getting it done in the middle.
I'll tell you what, Sean, it's no different than trying to throw the ball. We're both right-handers. You ask me to put a football in my hand and throw left-handed, exactly. I can't throw it 10 yards down the field.
And you feel like a dork doing it, too, don't you?
2nd down and 8 now for the Rams. And Green hammers it off the left side and picks up maybe 2 yards on the carry before Ray Henderson drags him to the ground. Tomorrow morning, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN as two of the top teams meet in the Outback Bowl. Kirk Ferentz leads the Iowa Hawkeyes against the Florida Gators on New Year's Day. Coverage begins with College Game Day, built by Home Depot at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That would be 6:30 a.m. out here for the folks on the West Coast. For complete bowl coverage, you can log on to ESPN.com.
Oh, Kirk Ferentz has become a hot commodity as far as NFL player, and these jobs looking open. I'll wait till that game's over. I'm sure to talk to Coach Ferentz and the best freshman quarterback in the country, Chris Leak, playing for Florida, had an outstanding year. That young man's going to be a great player.
Van Pelt steps up inside after pressure, slips a tackle, and finally squirms his way out to about the 27-yard line. It's going to be close to a first down. Ray Henderson, the middle linebacker, was there on the stop after about a 7-yard pickup.
Great effort by Van Pelt to keep his balance. You're looking for people and why. This is the Mountain West two-time player of the year. The effort, the first tackle should have gone down, but have a look at him getting 3 or 4 extra yards and getting the first down. There's no sliding him. Battle, battle, battle. Give me a couple, 3 extra yards and get a first down. Change, move again.
Making his 36th start here tonight. 23-12 as a starter. As they come out with a 2 tight end set. Dreesen, slow motion left and play action. Looking at outside, and he has his tight end Bartz, who gets it down inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line. A pickup of 10. Ryan Glasper, the free safety, is there to make the play for the Eagles defense.
Good, nice little play action. Get it to your tight end quickly. Throw right out in front. And I'm sure it still hurts him, Mark, Bradley Van Pelt, but he sure is playing like it. Now, if adrenaline's carrying through, because he's playing like a guy that's not sore at all. But I know he's in pain.
He told us he'd be taking a lot of anti-inflammatories before this football game. 8 of 9 on the night, 97 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. And, of course, always a rushing threat. Leads the team in that category with 844 yards coming in tonight. That's Jimmy Green off the left-hand side, and we have a flag, and this will be roughing the passer, and it'll be on Matthias Kiwanuka, who's the Big East sack leader, the sophomore out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Got a little bit frustrated with the Colorado State quarterback.
Yes, he sure did, and Van Pelt on the handoff carries out his fake, Mark. Carries out that fake, going to get a personal foul. Move this thing a little bit closer. This is where you can't. They call this man Kiwi. You can't lose your composure. Things are going well. Van Pelt making a play.
Personal foul, defense, half the distance, automatic, first down.
We show it to you again, but it was so far out of the frame, which is why he got the flag. It's unbelievable. Kiwi, by the way, his grandfather was the first prime minister of Uganda back in 1961. He was subsequently killed by Idi Amin, and a very proud first-generation African-American here at Boston College University. The rollout now by Van Pelt. Nobody there, throws it back into a crowd, and it's intercepted by T.J. Stansel, the free safety, who skies up in the air to make the interception. And Sean, how many times have we said it? If you're a quarterback, you'd never throw it back across the grain in the middle of the field.
Mark, there's only a couple guys I know that could ever do that. One wears number 4 in Green Bay, and the other was number 7 in Denver. You cannot even those guys. Have a look now at Bradley Van Pelt. Throw the ball away. You're a veteran. Do not make these young mistakes. Throwing it back across his body. That's a lob ball. That is too easy. We come back, Boston College, 21-7 over Colorado State. Bradley Van Pelt making that rookie mistake that a veteran cannot make, throwing across your body. I don't care if you have a cannon loaded, you cannot make that throw. Let the freshman do that, make that mistake. Van Pelt knows better than that, Mark. Well, there he is, and he'll battle back. He's not going to lose his confidence, but you cannot, in the red zone, turn the ball over. And there you talk about the margin, Mark.
Minus 13. That placed them 105th in Division 1A. There are only 117 teams. Yeah. It's difficult to win many games at all if you're going to finish the season minus 13 in the takeaway margin.
Amazing they could overcome those turnovers to get to a bowl game, Mark. Just can't do that if you're Bradley Van Pelt. He knows better.
Out of the shotgun. Peterson goes to the air and looks the seam route. Down the middle to Dave Cachetta, who hauls it in close to the 50-yard line. Jeff Flora, the linebacker, was in coverage, but it'll be a gain of 27 yards for the Eagles.
Mark, I'm going to preach this until somebody listens, okay? Find the football. Going down the seam, when you play the man, you got no shot. You got to look back and find the football. See how late he is with the jump? And it's a big-time receiver advantage. Flora's got to turn back, feel the receiver, locate the football, and then you can jump when the tight end jumps. You just can't allow that to happen continually, and I see it all the time at the next level, too.
Peterson goes right back to work and is pressured immediately and sacked by Drew Wood, the middle linebacker. Get credited for that sack after Andre Summersell got there first and got a hand on Peterson.
That's really the first time they've had a lot of pressure tonight, Mark.
Certainly
Peterson's been able to sit back there and pick his way through that secondary, but they got in there and made that play.
Wood's 5th sack of the season out of Buena Vista, Colorado. 6'2", 235-pound senior. And by the way, an academic All-American second teamer. Guy does it on the field and in the classroom. 3 wide receivers now on 2nd and 20 for Peterson. They hand the ball off to the draw to Knight. He picks up maybe a yard on the play and is stopped immediately by Jeff Flora, the linebacker.
Nice job by Flora and that entire defense. A lot of times when you're playing against a quick back, you overcommit. And when you overcommit, you start grabbing air and chasing a ghost. What they did there, they broke it down, stay right in their lanes, let Knight come to them, and make the tackle and wrap up. Nice job by the Colorado State defense.
All right, we're going to step aside and take a break with a minute 35 remaining here in the second quarter. Is Bradley Van Pelt one of the top quarterbacks in the United States? Sean Salisbury will talk about it when we come back. The beautiful Bay Bridge in the background lit up on this New Year's Eve for the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl here at Pac Bell Park. And that is Tom O'Brien, who his team faces now a 3rd and 19 with a minute 35 remaining here in the second. Boston College up by 2 touchdowns. And Bradley Van Pelt would like another shot to redeem himself of throwing that interception.
Diamond Walnut's done a great job sponsoring this thing and been very hospitable to all of us here. It's been great.
Out of the shotgun, Peterson under pressure, forced out and on the move. Squares up and now going to be tackled at the 37-yard line by Lucas Davis, a loss of 2 yards.
And you know, Mark, at home, people are probably saying, you can't take a sack. But think if Bradley Van Pelt would have done that or thrown it out of the end zone there on that last series, they'd still be going into score.
And what's interesting about the young junior college transfer is instead of electing to run out of bounds, he hits the ground, the clock continues to run.
You force a timeout.
Absolutely.
No question. That's a very, very smart play for that young quarterback, and I love taking a sack and punting is not a bad deal sometimes.
It is not.
It really is not a bad deal. Have a look again, and Mark, you made the great point that instead of running out of bounds, he stays in bounds and forces Colorado State. Looking, realize he got nothing, squeeze that ball, take the tackle in bounds. Nice job by Paul Peterson. Very nice job. Protecting the football. And I've been with coaches, Mark, so have you, that when you're down there, they say, you know what, punting can be a pretty good aspect of the game. That's why you got him. That's why he's on scholarship.
Mentioned his 3rd career start for BC. Came in the West Virginia game when Quentin Porter was injured with a concussion and faced a 4th and 12 from the 25-yard line. He just took the ball and threw a touchdown. On 4th and 12 from the 25-yard line.
He's a confident kid, isn't he?
When you talk to Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator for Boston College, he'll tell you that this kid gets it. He sees it, has a whip for an arm, got great feet.
And Mark, you don't even have to know who Paul Peterson is. You make
Bradley
the point about you make the point about Dana Bible. He does get it, and you could see a quarterback when you're watching him. You can see who gets it and who doesn't, and Paul Peterson does definitely get it.
Jeff Gomulinski now into punt, and Dexter Wynn is setting back at the 25 and decides to move out of the way, and the Eagles will down the ball at the 22-yard line. 40 yards on the kick, and Bradley Van Pelt now will have another shot with 1:08 left in the quarter.
And don't you dare kneel on this football and hand it off. And I don't think that Sonny Lubick will do that. They will make a play trying, because momentum could be huge here, Mark. Even if they get into we got a beautiful night here. I mean, there's very little wind, which is not normal in San Francisco, especially if we were out at Old Candlestick Park or 3Com. But we got a nice night here, so you get them in field goal range somewhere in that 30 to 32 yard range there, towards a 40 inside 50 yards. You got a chance because there's not a lot of wind, and that's only about 3 completions.
One timeout remaining now for the Rams, and Van Pelt goes to work. Play action bootleg, looking for Anderson, doesn't see anything he likes, pulls it down, runs through about 4 or 5 BC defenders, and finally tackled by Doug Goodwin, the defensive tackle, a pickup of 9 on the play.
See, now they're taking too much time. I don't understand this, Mark. You get a 9-yard gain. Okay, somebody called timeout. There you go.
Now the timeout.
All right. A little concerned about why they were taking so much time, because there's still 50 seconds to go.
Well, while they take a timeout, let's look at your top quarterbacks in college getting ready to come out to the National Football League.
Mark, you've seen this guy, J.P. Lossman.
Yes.
Got a big arm, good player, comes from a program that understands how to get quarterbacks going, and he's one of the better ones on my list. I like him. I think he's a sleeper. Matt Schaub from Virginia, been with Al Groh now for a while, had Bill Musgrave before he went on to Jacksonville, so he understands the position. 3, and I love this kid. I think he's come a long way. Phillip Rivers from North Carolina State. He's one of those guys I think could be around a long time, plays in a good conference, has the arm and has the leadership skills you're looking for. And the 2 best, and I think that they separate themselves from everybody else. Ben Roethlisberger, the redshirt junior from Miami of Ohio, who is coming out this year.
Strong kid.
Oh, man. And there's many. And then Eli Manning, obviously, who has great genes in it, understands football. And there's some that would flip-flop the 2, put Eli second and Roethlisberger first. Both of those 2 separate themselves from the other 3.
All right, so those are your top 5. Where does Bradley Van Pelt fit into those?
You know, Mark, I'd put an asterisk by his, because he's got that thing that the Brett Favre, the Steve McNair, that toughness that coaches love, that he just finds a way to win. The physical skills as far as the pretty ball, not there, but he's a winner, and that's why he'll get a shot to play on Sunday.
And a very hard worker as they come out and throw the ball immediately, and as they're going to say, it was complete to Eric Hill, a pickup of 6, as they go into the hurry-up offense now. The clock at 45 yards, they stop it to move the chains. Van Pelt across the middle, and the ball got on Eric Hill in a hurry, and they're going to say no interception. TJ Stansel was there to try to pick the ball off, but the ball hit the ground. As we take a look at Bradley Van Pelt, and where he ranks among the 4 quarterbacks with 5,000 yards passing and 2,000 yards rushing. And you can see as Sean Gross, Antoine Randall in Pittsburgh playing for the Steelers, has made a great transition to wide receiver. Van Pelt at 61.03 in the passing department, 22.35. We told you he came in here 82.15.
I want a winner at that position and a leader, Mark. I'll beat you more than you'll beat me if I got a leader as opposed to somebody who looks great in a uniform, and that's what Bradley Van Pelt is.
Van Pelt under pressure, escapes, fakes out a couple of defenders, and now in the open, down the sideline, and finally jumps out of bounds at the 46-yard line, a pickup of 15. Peter Sheen, the corner, was there to force the big quarterback out of bounds.
This is 225 pounds or so of just solid stud that can get out of that pocket and run. And have a look now, decisive. I always want quarterback to be decisive. Realizes nobody's open, nice pump fake to draw the linebacker up, gets himself in the open field, and has the presence of mind to get out of bounds and to give themselves a chance here to get in field goal range and to kill that clock. Nice play by Van Pelt.
28 seconds remaining here in the half. The Rams now have crossed midfield. Van Pelt back in the pocket, looks inside, and the ball picked off by Peter Sheen, the junior from Medfield, Massachusetts. Comes up with the 2nd interception, or actually the 3rd interception of the Colorado State Rams, the 2nd by Bradley Van Pelt.
And Mark, the man they call Kiwi, putting that pressure on, gets after Van Pelt and forces the hit, and the ball comes just a little bit behind, and then the interception. Have a look, ball's thrown behind. You cannot throw that on that slant route. You got to find a way to get it out in front, and here's the pressure coming in. It's not so much the sacks that have a problem. It is the constant punishment on the quarterback that takes its toll.
Henderson in there with Kiwanuka, the defensive end who leads the Big East in sacks. So after a couple of good drives, some mistakes now stall the Colorado State Rams. And Peterson goes to work. Down the field again and had a wide open wide receiver, Larry Lester, but the ball terribly underthrown for Lester, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 10 with 17 seconds remaining here in the half.
Mark, there's way too much acreage open for these Boston College receivers to run. Now, that was just an underthrow by Paul Peterson, or they've got themselves in field goal range if that's a completion, but I don't letting people get behind him, and Lester got behind Colorado State and was in a nice position to make a huge play. Just Peterson didn't get enough on the throw.
You're right. They can't afford to give up the big play. If you go in 2 touchdowns down, you're in this football game.
You bet.
Peterson again working the slot, and this time intercepted by Benny Mastropalo. Mastropalo picks the ball off at the 47-yard line, and that'll end what was a quick drive for Boston College.
Nice job. That's that 2 deep. And Mark, what do we talk? The old Monty Kiffin 2 deep, Tampa Bay's defensive coordinator, and that's what Colorado State likes to do. And a nice job by Mastropalo, who just sits out there, has nobody to hold him. So he's just kind of helping with Wynn on that side of the field. Drives on the football, grossly underthrown by Peterson. And now you got a chance for a completion and a down ball, or if you throw it deep to the outside, Mark, to get a feet down and maybe get a field goal or a shot at the end zone.
Mastropalo's 3rd interception of the season. And Van Pelt will take over with 11 seconds left and dodges some trouble, and then sacked at the 41-yard line.
Guess who?
Kiwi. Matthias Kiwanuka picks up the sacks. He came into the game 10.5 on the season and picks up a sack there at the end of the half. And we're counting down to Happy New Year's on the East Coast. So to all our family members and to those who are spooned up on a chair someplace, Happy New Year to all of you. Let's check in with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Coach, what went into your decision to not start Bradley Van Pelt?
Well, the fact that he only practiced 2 days all through this series here, all through our season up to getting ready for the bowl game, and the other guy had a lot more reps and that, and we just felt the other guy would be ready to go.
With Bradley throwing a couple interceptions, do you stay with him the entire second half?
Well, yeah, that was a bad throw down here. We had 4 downs to get the ball in here. We'll probably play them both the second half.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Okay,
Mark.
you.
All right, Jimmy, thank you very much. Colorado State down by 2 touchdowns. We'll be back with more action from San Francisco after this. From San Francisco, the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. East versus West. Colorado State against Boston College, and the Eagles are up 21-7 after 2 quarters of play. Mark Malone and Sean Salisbury, glad you could be with us. Happy New Year to you and to all of our families back on the East Coast and to all of our friends. And Bradley Van Pelt did not start this game, came in, led this football team to 7 points, but made a couple of critical errors. What do they have to do to get back in this game and perhaps win it in the second half?
You know what, Mark? Just do what he did on that first drive. You don't need to go out there and try to make everything happen. I know Bradley Van Pelt's an excitable guy, but he's got to play like the veteran he is. He made a couple rookie mistakes. He's got to find a way to just protect the football, because if he does that, Mark, this is a 1-touchdown game, and they can get right back into this thing with 1 good drive.
2-time Mountain West Conference Player of the Year and one of only 4 players, as we said, in NCAA history to pass for over 5,000 and rush for more than 2,000. Dexter Wynn will take it at the 1 for Colorado State. Got some room down the right side and steps out of bounds around the 36-yard line. Well, if you're just joining us on this New Year's Eve, let's get you caught up. Early on, it was all BC. Offensively led by Derek Knight. 2 touchdowns in the first half for Mr. Knight. And then Van Pelt comes off the bench and leads his football team to an early score, but then the 2 critical mistakes, the interceptions that kill drives, and that's how it ended. BC defense coming up with 3 picks. Justin Holland throwing the first one as he started the football game, and Van Pelt now back in to the start of the second half. They come out throwing. Anderson catches the ball on the hitch and is tackled out around the 43-yard line by Blackman and Cook, a pickup of 8.
Ball's thrown anywhere near him, he just catches it, doesn't he, Mark? There's a reason why he's a single-season yardage guy. Plus, he's only a sophomore. David Anderson having a good night tonight.
Anderson, the first half, 7 catches, 80 yards. That makes it 8 on the night so far for him. Second down and 3. And a flag is thrown as Van Pelt looked like he was about ready to run the speed option right.
5 yards. Still second down.
They get the penalty. Let's check in with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Guys, I talked with Boston College head coach Tom O'Brien as he came out of the locker room. I said, Coach, what can we look for this half? He said, I'll tell you exactly what you can look for. We're going to keep the ball in the hands of Derek Knight. When it's not in his hands, we're going to play action off of it. He said, I can tell you this. We are going to keep Bradley Van Pelt in the pocket this half. He killed us in the first half with his legs. We've got to contain him.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. It's much to do about nothing. I mean, Tom O'Brien did that in the first half. They ran the ball with Derek Knight. They play action, got some big passes out of Peterson, but they did not keep Van Pelt in the pocket.
And what Coach O'Brien's talking about is you got to have those linebackers and ends, got to make sure they keep contained and force Bradley Van Pelt up inside.
They throw the ball intended for Anderson out around the 47, but it's incomplete. Blackman was in coverage, and that's going to bring up a third down and about 8 yards.
Mark, both these coaches, both Coach O'Brien and Coach Lubick, class programs. You know, the way they handle, we got to do that luncheon yesterday, and what a great, the way they handle their kids and just the professionalism and the way they work them. Both good men, and there's a reason why both these teams have been to 5 consecutive bowl games, because they're led by good leaders, and both those head coaches have good winning programs because of them.
Play action, looking again for Anderson. The ball low, but Anderson goes down and grabs it, but it's going to be short of the first down at the 45-yard line. Colorado State needed to get out to the 46, and the right guy to throw to, but an inaccurate throw.
Yeah, Mark, there's that 3-step drop, little play action, but get it out quick on the slant route. If the ball's another 2 feet out in front, Anderson catches it and runs. But have a look now, and I don't know, maybe it's the hand and the thumb, but little play action. Ball's going to come out now. Just a little behind him. You got to keep Anderson on his feet because, Mark, he runs and gets up those hash marks. It's a bigger gain, but now you got to punt.
So that brings on Jeff Babcock to do the punting, and Blackman will line up at the 20-yard line for the Eagles, waiting to receive. Babcock averaging just over 42 yards a punt, and this is a deep spiraling kick. Blackman back to the 11. And finally hit by Drew Wood, the linebacker, at the 26-yard line. You talk about Paul Peterson, the quarterback, making just his 3rd career start, his first bowl start. Pretty good first half.
Yeah, he did. He had the 1 interception at the end of the half, Mark, with the 151 yards. It's been very efficient. He's made some big plays, and for the most part, he's protected the football. But the more Derek Knight touches at the running back, the better off Paul Peterson will be, because they talk about that play action that they want to run with Coach O'Brien. Talked about that to Jimmy Dykes at halftime.
They said when Peterson got in, you could see he had the talent. He just didn't know the offense. And as he gained confidence in the offense, they had to just tell Quentin Porter, the original starter, you're going to be the backup. This kid has got to play. And he comes out throwing. The ball to Grant Adams, who drags a tackler out to the 37-yard line. That tackler was Brandon Cathy, but he can't haul him down until after a 9-yard gain.
Hey, Mark, if you have, and I know you and I have talked about this, but I've always wondered if something's good, keep going back to it. If they're going to give you a 12-yard cushion on the outside with the receiver, run a 6-yard hitch route, have him a little run after the catch, and now you got a chance. There's a lot of signaling going on with 4 quarterbacks there.
We talked to Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator. He says, we have 3 guys to signal stuff in.
Good gracious.
He said, so if one of those guys gets hurt, we're in trouble. Only 2/3 of the offense really understands what's going on. And Knight carries the ball off the left side before Adam Lancicero, the linebacker, makes the tackle, and that's Quentin Porter. He started the first 9 games. You can see him right there. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
And
I'm an artist.
A 56% passer. And again, we mentioned he had a problem with his hand in the West Virginia game, then suffered a concussion, and he never got his job back after that.
Well, you know, Mark, you leave your glove out on the mound. Sometimes somebody come out and pick it up, and he's a big, tall, strong kid who could throw the football. But Peterson is a playmaker, and that's why you put him in a lineup, and he wins, and that's why he's starting this bowl game.
Might, in fact, ask him to redshirt next season the way Peterson has come on to play.
Because they're both in the same grade. That's
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
They're both juniors as Knight rushes the ball up close to a first down, Mark. And let's take you back to that point in time against West Virginia when Porter suffered the injury, and it looked rather tame early on as he scrambles to the right and gets hit going out of bounds. But he took a helmet right on the right hand, and you can see right there he's shaking it off. The flesh basically just exploded. He took 9 stitches, came back in the game, the hand swelled up, then he suffered a concussion and was pulled from the game, and that's when Peterson got his shot.
And he had pretty good numbers too, Mark.
Yes, he did.
You know, up near 60% and 14 touchdowns against 6 interceptions. So if they do ask him to redshirt, it'd be good for him to have a chance to come back and start a senior year after he sits down a year.
This time Peterson hands the ball off to Knight again for a pickup of 5. Jeff Floor makes the play, but not before another Boston College first down. And Knight, as we mentioned, came into this game needing 128 yards to become the single season all-time leading rusher at Boston College. He's already the all-time leading rusher at the university. Right. Mike Cloud holds the single season mark. He has 77 yards on the night on 17 carries so far. Peterson, plenty of time, pulls it down, and now under pressure and leaps forward. And they'll count that as a sack. Patrick Goodpaster, the defensive end, was there first. We check back in with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Mark, you talked about Quentin Porter being knocked out of the quarterback spot because of a concussion. One of the reasons why he wasn't wearing one of these new Revolution football helmets that every freshman and sophomore on the Boston College team has to wear. You see it comes down a little bit lower to protect the chin. The face mask is a motorcycle design to deflect hits away. Every underclassman for Boston College right now, they're in these helmets. It's a new Revolution helmet designed by NFL doctors and trainers.
Jeff Ott, or Josh Ott, the linebacker, said, senior, I declined to use it. I couldn't turn my head enough. It was uncomfortable for me, but all the underclassmen will use it. And Derek Knight slips outside and gets close to the 50-yard line. A pickup of 2. Goodpaster there for the stop again.
Hey, Mark, the more we can prevent head injuries and neck injuries, I'm all for a helmet change if that's what eventually everybody's got to go to, because they want to make sure that we're safer. This is a physical game. As good a protection as you can get, but there's only so much you can protect, and the head is one place you'd sure like to protect as often as possible.
See Wood there. Comes off the field. Somewhat in pain.
Linebacker, tough guy, man. He'll be all right.
There. 3rd down and long. And Peterson dodges some trouble, then finds Grant Adams over the middle. And they say, nope, no catch. That one was close to the ground, would have been a heck of a catch. Cathy was there in coverage, and that's going to bring out the punt team.
Mark, when you blitz, you can't miss. And you get that pressure on inside, you've got to find a way to make sure that you don't let the quarterback sidestep you. And Peterson did it again. But when you go through there and you sell out, you got to make sure you tackle Peterson, because that was almost another big play for Boston College. But Colorado State now get the ball back and win, who's ever dangerous. Remember, 5 kicks have been returned against Boston College for touchdowns this year.
Jeff Gomulitsky slips as he punts the ball, and this is a short kick, and Dexter Wynn calls for the fair catch at the 22 and was bumped into by a Boston College player, and there comes the late flag. The Rams looking for the flag after Ryan Glasper made contact, and it looks like they're going to get the penalty.
Got to give him room to make that fair catch, Mark.
Incidental, no doubt. He slips on the turf, but as you said, you got to give him room.
That's right.
There's no halo rule anymore.
Kick catch, interference, 15 yards, first down, timeout. Well, the halo rule would be if got to let him catch it, but you can't interfere with his ability to catch a football. Gets too close and draws a flag. Get him a few extra yards and work in better field position.
Bradley Van Pelt will get another shot. They are trailing by 2 touchdowns with 9:14 remaining in the 3rd. Welcome back to San Francisco, and that is the San Francisco Bell, filled up and ready to go on this New Year's Eve right outside the stadium in McCovey Cove as Boston College leads Colorado State by 2 touchdowns. Bradley Van Pelt back in the ball game, trying to lead the Rams back from a 2-touchdown deficit.
25 minutes till the Central Time Zone celebrates, right, Mark?
But we still have a
2.5
little while here before it's New Year's Eve on the West Coast. Dreesen in motion, and they hand the ball off inside to Green, who is tackled at the 40s. We check in with Jimmy Dykes.
Guys, I'm with Sandy McBride, the Vice President of Marketing for Diamond of California, the title sponsor for the San Francisco Bowl. And what does this bowl game mean to your company, Sandy?
Oh, Jimmy, first of all, I have to tell you that Diamond of California is really, really proud to be title sponsor of the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. This game this event is a perfect fit with our commitment to promoting healthy lifestyles and good living and good nutrition.
You couldn't ask for a better city to host a bowl game than San Francisco. Our crew has fallen in love with your city.
Oh, thank you so much. I visited with the players and the coaches earlier this week, and they're loving it here, too, as well.
All right, hey, thanks for the snacks in my room, too, by the way.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
right.
Jimmy, tell her thanks for the Diamond Walnuts. We're falling in love with those, too, buddy.
The guys upstairs are saying thanks for the Diamond Walnuts. They fell in love with those, too.
Hey, great.
They need some healthy food.
Yes, we do.
That's wonderful.
Watch it. Jimmy, watch it. We're both bigger than you now.
You're right.
Well, just to get you caught up, Dexter Wynn, who has made an impact in this game as a return man and a corner, catches the ball. Will Blackman makes the tackle, and that brings up 3rd and 2 now for Bradley Van Pelt and the Rams. And here comes the reverse.
They got room here, Mark.
They do. That is Eric Hill, a 4'3", 40 guy, a track guy, who's a senior out of Denver, Colorado, picks up 7 on the play. Kiwanuka and Josh Otter there on the stop.
And Mark, you know what? When this came out, it looked like they had more space to run and get this thing out. You're going to see on the perimeter, there's 4 guys out in front, including the quarterback Van Pelt. Does a nice job of blocking Kiwi. Excellent job splitting the tackle, the blockers there to get through by Kathy. Excuse me, by Will Blackman to make that tackle, Mark. Nice job of splitting those two. Get up and have somebody out on the perimeter.
Could have been bigger, but it serves the purpose of moving the chains. 1st and 10 now at midfield for the Rams. Green, plenty of room, cuts it back to the left side and gets out to the 40-yard line near a 1st down. Peter Sheen with a tackle. And Jimmy Green, who, by the way, rushed for his first 100-yard game of the season finale against UNLV, has been part of a carousel at running back for Colorado State.
Yeah, and Mark they started with Marcus Houston. This is Jimmy Green's job, but
yes,
he missed a meeting, I guess, and told he was going to play, was late to a meeting, so they started to start Marcus Houston. But Jimmy Green, they've used a lot of different backs, waiting for somebody to establish himself. Green's the guy tonight. Marcus
Houston, a transfer from Colorado, awarded 2 seasons by the NCAA as Van Pelt works on the play action. Got a man deep. It's Anderson. Anderson, touchdown Rams! What a great throw and catch by Bradley Van Pelt. And Anderson, 40 yards in all. Paul Cook, the strong safety, was the man in coverage.
Hey, Mark, I'm not so sure this wasn't a great adjustment by Anderson, because I think he looked inside and changed his route. Have a look down. Number 4, David Anderson, look, gets up in between. Look at him look inside. Say, nope, let me adjust to this throw. And look outside. Beautiful pitch and catch. Nice adjustment by Anderson. And Van Pelt put it where only his guy could get it. That's a tough throw into double coverage there.
Certainly is. Great throw and catch as Jeff Babcock makes good on the extra point, and we've got a 1-touchdown football game with 7 minutes remaining here. 21-14 Boston College. David Anderson picking up his 9th touchdown reception of the season. We're back with more action right after this. Welcome back to Pac Bell Park and the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl as Colorado State comes back quickly. 5 plays, 63 yards, and David Anderson picks up his 10th catch of the night. He has 134 yards on the night. As you can see, Van Pelt has got him fired up within a touchdown now. And that is Kevin Martin. Sends it deep. And Grant Adams picks it up at about the 12-yard line, and then is dropped at the 20-yard line as we take a look again at that touchdown pass.
And Mark, this was the awesome thing about this. This is right here is Anderson going to come down and give me this post right here. Have a look at what Bradley Van Pelt does now. Comes in, a little play action fake like he's running the option. But there's I love. You look inside, and he probably shouldn't have thrown that ball, but he realized that there's coverage inside, threw it to the outside. Great adjustment by Van Pelt. Great adjustment by Anderson. I don't like to use the word great too often, but that was nice there, Mark, to get him back in this game.
Tremendous night by David Anderson. 10 receptions, 134 yards, averaging over 13 yards a catch and a touchdown. He is now the all-time single-season leader in reception yards. As Peterson goes to work now on the bootleg, throwing the ball outside to Sean Ryan, the tight end, who is down around the 31-yard line. Patrick Goodpaster, the defensive end, makes the stop, and that's going to move the chains.
That play has become one of the great weapons in football, period, Mark. A little waggle fake to the stretch fake one way and come back out the backside. Tight end, grab his end, throw him inside and release to the flat. Very difficult play to cover.
Especially in college. Sometimes it's 3rd and 12 and they bite on the run fake. I'm not sure why, but it's very effective.
Exactly.
Derek Knight runs the ball off the left-hand side, and there seems to be a fumble, but the officials aren't buying it.
We don't have the luxury of instant replay in college football.
No, we do not. Goodpaster fell
Sometimes
on it,
it's not exactly a luxury either.
No matter which team you think is number one, the only place to see them play is on ABC. On New Year's Day, join ABC Sports at 4:30 Eastern Time. That's 1:30 Pacific for the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, presented by Citi. The Trojans of USC will be out to prove their claim to the national titles. They face the Michigan Wolverines. It all kicks off at 4:30 Eastern. Only on ABC.
I'm an unbiased college football analyst. Go USC.
The former Trojan speaks as Brian Savay makes the tackle for the loss on Knight, a loss of 3 yards. As we take a look now at the BCS standings presented by Allstate, and you can see the Trojans, number 3.
Yeah, and you know what, Mark, though, they're playing a real physical team in Michigan who's going to run that football. And I'm anxious because I think right now this team is playing as good as anybody in the country, LSU. Should be fun to watch. USC wins, and between the Oklahoma-LSU game and that BCS, probably get a split national title. It's going to be interesting to see.
Probably what's going to happen.
4 great teams in those big bowl games there, Mark.
A real undecided upset as Peterson, under pressure, throws the bootleg out to Cachetta. And Cachetta holds on for maybe a 2-yard pickup, and Boston College is going to have to punt the ball.
Did I mention that USC plays Michigan tomorrow, Mark?
You did. I think you did. I think you did.
That'll be a great game. And then we'll get that championship game on Sunday at the Sugar Bowl, which will be a blast to watch, won't it?
It'll be a great one, yeah. I'm still a guy that would love to see a short playoff season. Take the top 4 teams in the country and let them play a couple of games. But this is what we have, and we'll try to make it work the best we can.
You deal with the rules and you play them, Mark, and that's the way it turned out. And, you know, there's no crying in football, so you move on. But it would be great a week from now to watch the winner of those 2 games get it on a little bit. That'd be fun to watch.
Under pressure, Gomulinski nails a long punt. Wynn takes it at the 25 and is hammered after about a 2-yard pickup. And speaking of bowl games, we're going to flash back.
We come back. Days.
Look at a long-legged USC quarterback.
He's got game.
We continue from San Francisco. Stay with us, everybody. Boston College leading 21-14 over Colorado State with 4:21 left in the 3rd quarter. Sean Salisbury, Mark Malone, Jimmy Dykes down on the field, and Bradley Van Pelt has got this Rams team fired up.
He does, and he's an emotional guy, but his emotions is what's carried his career and what's carried this team, Mark, and he's not making a mistake on that drive. Gets him back in it, only a touchdown down. This is going to be a good football game as we head into the second half here.
There's no doubt about it. That kid can will a football team to win, and you could see it in his eyes on the sideline. He was, in fact, ready to go. As they take over now after the big punt by Gomulinski at the 28-yard line. Play action bootleg. Van Pelt looks for Anderson. He's been his target all night, and almost a spectacular catch by Anderson at midfield. The ball was high. The coverage was by Jasmine Williams.
I can assure you that's not what Bradley Van Pelt wanted to do with that throw. That came out wrong, and we almost had a great catch by Anderson. Have a look at the ball come out, Mark. He's going to come down a little bit of sidearm 3/4 going against his body. It just floats. Now this could have something to do with that hand. See that? He wants that thing to come on a line. Almost a great catch on a comeback route that You want that thing low and away so the guy can catch it coming back to you.
I think those are the things from a mechanical standpoint that he can learn to polish at the next level.
I agree, Mark.
2nd and 10. Green gets the carry, stretches left, and breaks a tackle. A flag on the play. And Green is tackled out around the 37-yard line.
We get a face mask on that,
by
Mark?
Paul Cook. It looked like it might have been a face mask. And we have a player down as well. That's Jamie Amacarella, the right guard, who's face down and being attended to.
Against Colorado State, too, so there was no face mask call.
Well, let's take a look at what Bradley Van Pelt has been able to do tonight, especially with David Anderson. He came off the bench tonight and has gone 13 of 19 for 162 yards. The great pass to Anderson for the touchdown, as Anderson has caught 10 for 134 and a touchdown in this football game as well. And again, we've seen a lot of this out of play action rollouts, and when Van Pelt can put pressure on the defense both as a passer and a runner, it creates a lot of problems.
It sure does, Mark. It creates those lanes that you're looking for because people have to respect his legs. So they attack him, create space for him to throw him. And the thing I like about Anderson too, Mark, is that he understands where he wants to go on the field, and there's a confidence. And every quarterback, you and I both, it doesn't matter whether it's Troy Aikman or Elway, they always have that one guy, or Peyton Manning with Marvin Harrison, that you lean on. That when you got to have a play, you know who to go to. And Van Pelt's guy's been Anderson, not only tonight, but all year long.
So they finally get Jamie Amacarella up off the field, and they will help him off. And Terrell Gardner now, who is listed as the backup right tackle, will move into the right guard position for Colorado State. And the flag obviously was on the Rams.
No need to speculate, but you'll see this is right here. Jamie's going to come in here and he's going to get rolled up on by the tackler. Can't quite get out of the way, and Mark, I don't even like to see that there. Look how far his ankle gets caught underneath there.
Big men that weigh 300 pounds are not supposed to stretch like that.
And you know what, Mark? It's amazing in this game of football with these physical athletes that there's not more people falling on knees and getting hurt like that.
I agree with you 100%. He started 12 games, a transfer out of Montana in 2001. We wish him well. As Bradley Van Pelt looks down, finds Anderson on the slant. 3 defenders come right in to make the tackle at the 30, and there's another flag on the play. Ricky Brown, the linebacker, was there first to make the tackle.
Now that's that one slant route that you want to throw. Gets it out in front, let him get a couple extra yards. Penalties now are going to get Colorado State in trouble.
The referees discussing the situation, and Colorado State continues to walk back toward the goal line.
Ineligible downfield, offense, 5 yards, replay, second down.
Not sure how that happens on a 3-step drop.
I was just going to say, Mark, unless I don't know how on a quick slant when the quarterback's getting it out of his hand that fast, they either miss the call or these players don't understand that concept of that play. But 3-step, you should never take a sack, and you sure as heck should never have somebody downfield.
So now we've got 2nd down and 25. Want to pick this up in chunks as Van Pelt works with 3 wide receivers in the game now. And under pressure escapes the pocket. Down across the 20 and out near the 22-yard line before he's dragged down by several players, including Josh Ott, the co-captain of the defense, a pickup at 9.
When the coaches are putting in their playbook, this is not exactly what they have in mind. There's not very many plays for the 3rd and 16.
3rd and 16. Not many that I want to run anyways.
No,
sit back in that pocket.
Keep me in a coat and tie if that's the case. I want no part of it.
But Van Pelt creates so many problems.
Now this guy could run for he's good enough to find a way to get it done. I'll tell you that.
You play coverage and back out, and he could pull it down and run with the football. Well, Mark, but he calls a timeout here.
Mark, you played the game. You had great speed, and you could run too. It must be a great advantage for you too when you played to have that.
But I don't think I was ever as tough as Bradley Van Pelt. Sonny Lubick and his quarterback will talk it over. We'll take a break, and we're back right after this. Back back in packed Bell Park in San Francisco. It's the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. Happy New Year, everybody. Boston College up 21-14 with 2:42 left. And I understand the guys in the truck are even enjoying some of those Diamond Walnuts right now.
Yeah, could you? We got a game we're playing here. Can you guys eat the nuts later, please? I don't blame him, Mark. I'm trying to slip myself a few too, so I'm with him.
All right, third down and very long. We'll call it 15 yards for Van Pelt. And they come out with a bootleg. Kiwi on the chase. The ball thrown deep to Anderson, but just overthrown at the 40-yard line. Will Blackman was there in coverage, but it was the chase by Kiwi, the defensive end, that I think caused the problem.
Mark, I'm impressed with his speed. He runs, you know, when you watch Javon Curson, by no means am I comparing the two, but when the ball's away, he runs it down. Got good speed. There's a reason why he can get to that quarterback, but he also doesn't quit when the play's away from him, which I really am impressed with.
6'8", 249 pounds. They say he's just a pup. He arrived 190 pounds, 6'8", 190, and he has certainly got some skills.
Well, you know what? With a 6'8" frame, Mark, now you get that thing up to 280, and if he can keep that speed, there'll be a lot of batted balls at the next level that this kid could use to improve.
Jeff Babcock kicks the ball, a wobbly kick that's deep, and Blackman calls for the fair catch and will catch it at the 38-yard line, but there's a flag on the play. Been a little sloppy here in the second half. And holding against Colorado State. See if Boston College is going to force them to kick the ball over again. Oh, no, it's on Boston College. Excuse me. The officiating crew got the direction a little mixed up. Tom O'Brien getting an explanation. If we can have one up here in the booth. Sonny Lubbock's coming out on the field. He said, hey, somebody come talk to me. Again, this is a baseball park, so both teams are situated on the same sideline, which is very unusual. Back in the old NFL days in Milwaukee Park, up in the Minnesota's old stadium, you shared a sideline, but this is unusual in this day and time.
If you didn't like the team you were playing against, you could reach out and rub shoulders and get in some trouble.
Holding on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so they got it straightened out. Sonny Lubbock got the explanation. Boston College holding on the play, so they'll back it up another 10 yards for the Eagles, which will help out Colorado State, trailing by a touchdown now with 2:29 remaining in the third. What a delightful man he is.
Oh, awesome. You know, Mark, interesting. He was up for he's been here a long time. What's Sonny now, 66?
66 years old, yes, sir.
The people love him. Tough to leave Colorado State. He's been up for a lot of jobs.
Some big ones, too.
You bet.
USC, Miami.
Finished, he was the runner-up to Pete Carroll at the SC job. And would have been a great coach there, but I think they're doing okay with Pete. But Sonny's been a great coach at the University of Miami a handful of years ago, same way, because he was a defensive coordinator there at one point also.
Speaking of defense, a big defensive play by Colorado State, stopping Knight. Terrence Carter, Lavelle Mann were in on the play for a loss of 2 yards.
He's a good storyteller, too, is Sonny.
He really is.
Mark, he said it's so nice to be around a guy refreshing who doesn't just give you coach speak. You know, He was honest about, you know, would he have taken the USC job? Yeah, probably. He would have. I mean, that's one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, but the field's named after him,
he named
Fort Collins. I think he's a lifer there, and he is a very, very successful coach and a great man.
Peterson out of the shotgun, scrambles and tucks the ball. He'll run it. Nailed at about the 36-yard line. Here's what Bradley Van Pelt had to say about Sonny Lubbock.
He doesn't run up and down the sideline screaming and yelling. He doesn't get in your face. He doesn't intimidate you. He lets you be a kid. He works with you. And it's just amazing. For someone like me to come through the program, that's what I needed as a head coach, is I needed someone to work with me, to bend with me, because I had to find a good medium. And he was that coach. And I can look back, and his wife, Carol Jo, is amazing. So the whole family, you're just lucky. You feel honored to be around the Lubbock family.
That's what that free spirit needed, a guy like Sonny Lubbock, to understand him as Peterson works on third down and throws to the big fullback. Greg Toll. And that's going to be enough for a first down, a pickup of 6. Brandon Cathy was there on the stop. If you're joining us now, Happy New Year in the Central Time Zone. It is the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. Some college football in the Bay Area at Pac Bell Park, Colorado State and Boston College. I'm Mark Malone along with Sean Salisbury and Jimmy Dykes, who's handling our sideline stuff for us tonight, doing a great job.
You see, Mark, 14 unanswered points the last 2 quarters by Colorado State after being down 21-0.
It is a 1-touchdown ball game now with just under a minute left here in the third quarter as they bring the chains out.
Mark, you know, about listening to Van Pelt talk about Sonny Lubick, I can guarantee you this, and you know, as we spent some time talking, all his coaches and players feel the same way about Sonny. I mean, you can be a father figure, but you could also have the respect factor, and he has that here, and that's why he's been so successful. People want to run through the wall twice for Sonny Lubick, and Coach O'Brien on the other side of the field too, Mark.
Well, Van Pelt struggled early this year, and for 3 series against Utah, they benched him. And Sonny said, you know, that's fine. He gives it up to the 2 offensive coordinators. But after about the 2nd series, he went over and said, when's he coming back in? And they said pretty soon. He said, good, just get him back in the football game. He understands the value of that young man on the field.
Sure does.
Peterson looking deep. He's had success on the seam route. And Dexter Wynn comes in and lays the hit on Larry Lester, and it's an incomplete pass. What a great play by that young man, Dexter Wynn, the 3-time all-conference defensive back.
Ball in the air a long time, go and make the hit. Nice job to get rid of the ball. It's a physical game. Nice job of Wynn separating the receiver from the ball. And that's a good call by the officials.
Good job by Lucas Davis, who ran close enough to the wide receiver that now Peterson's got to put air on the ball and allows Wynn or the safety to come in and make that kind of a hit.
Because if there's no air into that ball, then Lucas makes the pick himself. So you get it up there and allow Dexter Wynn to drive on it. You see him first team All Mountain West Conference. Guy's got a big smile, loves football, and is a wonderful athlete.
And by the way, it's his mother Shirley's birthday today. He asked us to say happy birthday, so happy birthday, Shirley.
Yep.
Peterson throws the ball outside to Grant Adams, who will pick up about 2 yards on the play. Jamal Hall, the linebacker, there first for the Rams. That's Patrick Goodpaster, the defensive end from Harbor City, California.
A lot of California kids come to Colorado State, Mark.
They do very well out in this area of the country. There's no doubt about that. Well, that's going to do it for the third quarter, and Colorado State has worked their way back into this football game. It's 21-7 Boston College, 21-14. We'll be back with fourth quarter action right after this. Happy New Year from Diamond Walnut and the San Francisco Bowl. It's the start of the fourth quarter. Boston College leading 21-14 over Colorado State. And a lot of fans here from the Colorado State area.
That's what we call a beauty shot in the business, right, Mark?
You might call it a beauty. I'll call it a scenic, my man. As we take a look at some of the action out at McCovey Cove, right across the home run wall here at Pac Bell Park. And what a beautiful ballpark this is.
It's awesome. What a great night, too. Staying away from the rain. I didn't mean to say the R word, though, so I'll try not to.
3rd and 8 for Peterson. Looks outside and had Lester, his intended receiver, got a hand on it. Brandon Cathy was close in tow, but that's going to bring out the punting team.
Colorado State's defense has done an excellent job, Mark, here in the second half of really keeping their team and giving them some good field position and getting Boston College's offense off the field and putting the ball back in Bradley Van Pelt's hands.
So Dexter Wynn, who came into this game averaging 13 yards a return, looks for a big play here for his Rams football team. Gomulinski. A wobbly punt fielded at the 28-yard line. And since it is bowl week here, let's take you back to 1982. This is the Fiesta Bowl, and that is a young Sean Salisbury.
True freshman.
A true freshman, mopping up, doing a pretty good job. Look at that roll.
Now that's a cannon now.
Well, John Robinson, nervous, watches his quarterback go down.
Why you guys got to show the bad stuff? Can a true freshman get some love, please?
Well, you know what? meager beginnings for a lot of us, you know.
Problem is, mine's still meager. Boy, was I skinny back then.
Well, you know, we were all a lot skinnier back then. There's no doubt about that.
Man, what an athlete I was.
1st and 10 now. And by the way, Holland is in the game for...
I will kill the production people, Mark, when this is over. You want to look at the numbers, too?
5 of 8, 79 yards, the interception. But again, we have bullet pointed the true freshman.
Thank you.
There you go. And Penn State.
And by the way, we got our rear end.
Yeah, Penn State was a pretty good football program.
Kurt
you know what?
Warner, yep.
I played them
Blackledge.
in 78, I believe it was. We played them there in a shootout, and they beat us as well.
Mark, they physically put it on us. Now, Justin Holland in the game.
He is in the game. As Bradley Van Pelt, who most likely is experiencing some sort of swelling in that hand. He had problems with that earlier in the week, and Holland comes out with the half roll right, looks back inside, and immediately throws the interception. TJ Stansel returns it to about the 15-yard line. And all of a sudden, as we look at Van Pelt on the sideline, and again, we're not sure yet why Sonny Lubick took him out, but Holland comes out and makes a huge mistake here at the start of the 4th.
Yeah, now they give him that short field again, Mark. It's just he's staring it down all the way, tries to force it into coverage, had no business. The linebacker got right in the throwing lane. He had nowhere to throw it but over his head. And you see the easy interception. That's a kid that'll learn, Mark. He's a sophomore, but you're put in those situations, you still got to protect the football. Now you put your defense in a bind.
4th interception on the night.
Tough to win when you're doing that, Mark.
For the Boston College defense. They came into this game, Colorado State minus 13 in the turnover margin. It was 105th in the nation. 105 out of 117 1A schools. As Drew Wood makes the stop after no game.
And that number's getting worse.
It is getting much worse. 2 picks on the night for Justin Holland, the sophomore, out of Lakewood and Bear Creek.
Sometimes, Mark, when you have a big arm like that kid does, it becomes your worst enemy because you think you can make every single throw.
You're right. There's no doubt about that. And the defense now has to come up big for Colorado State. 2nd down and 11. Peterson comes out throwing. Finds Joel Hazard for 3 yards. Dexter Wynn is there in a hurry for the Rams defense, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long. You look at Stansel there. Had a big game tonight.
Yes, he has. A lot of return yardage for that man on those interceptions. There's TJ Stansel, elementary education major, the junior from Pennsylvania. Good size, too, Mark, at 6'1", 212.
3rd down and 7. Here comes the blitz. Peterson avoids the free rusher and throws it into the end zone. Touchdown, Boston College.
What a great play.
Larry Lester on the receiving end of a 20-yard touchdown. His 5th touchdown of the season. And all of a sudden, the interception by young Justin Holland comes back to haunt Colorado State.
Mark, we said in the first half, when you blitz, you got to tackle him. He sidesteps the one, stays alive, makes the great throw to Lester in the end zone. That's a good job of avoiding the rush. You cannot miss when you're selling out on the blitz, and that's happened a number of times tonight. Good job by Peterson keeping it alive. Lester with his 2nd touchdown. Give Boston College some cushion in this football game.
Shortino makes good on the extra point. BC now takes a 28-14 lead with 12:31 remaining. Converted defensive back Larry Lester comes up with his 2nd touchdown of the evening for Boston College. Justin Holland, the sophomore quarterback, still warming up on the sideline after throwing an interception that Boston College capitalized on. Will it be Bradley Van Pelt, or will Holland get another shot for Sonny Lubick and the Rams?
Well, you remember at halftime when Sonny said they're going to play both in the 2nd half? Maybe he wanted to give him a series, but one's got his helmet on, Van Pelt, and the other one doesn't. I would imagine we'll see number 11 back in there.
Shortino deep to Dexter Wynn at the 1. Wynn with some room to work. Almost a big play out to the 28-yard line as we check in with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Guys, kind of interesting. Van Pelt actually walked over to Holland right before the kickoff, and said, get your helmet on and get out there. At least that's what it looked like from behind the Colorado State bench. Other thing to talk about for Colorado State, Jamie Amicarelli, guys, the offensive lineman, he's out for the remainder of this ball game with a torn MCL. Tough way for a senior to have to end his career.
Certainly is, Jimmy, and thank you very much. And you're right, as Justin Holland comes back out on the field again, throwing 2 interceptions on the night. And again, Van Pelt has thrown a couple of them, but the 2 that Holland has thrown have turned out to come back to haunt the Rams.
I don't know if Holland was ready to come in, Mark. He was kind of just playing catch without his helmet on. And
they come out throwing the football, and Holland goes right to Dreesen in the flat. And Dreesen gets out to about the 34-yard line, a gain of 5 on the play. Ricky Brown and Will Blackman were there for the Eagles.
I wonder how Van Pelt's feeling, Mark, physically. Do you find this a little bit odd?
I do find it a little bit odd. Again, we said at the beginning of the show that he's only been able to throw the ball a couple of days, and frankly, after that, it was so sore they had to kind of back off a little bit. He got a lot of swelling in the hand, but he certainly was effective when he was in the lineup tonight.
Well, their 2 scoring drives, but he's led them down the field.
Come back and give the ball to Green right up the middle. And he's hit by Stansel at about the 40 and gets out to the 42-yard line. Pickup of 8 on the play.
They're still not, with 11 minutes to go, Mark, you can still mix in this run. 2 touchdowns down.
Oh, absolutely.
Score quickly, no reason to abandon that. It's a nice job, get you the first down.
Mistakes have just come back
Can't
to hurt.
throw 4 picks and win games.
You cannot do that. Boston College shows the blitz. They hand the ball off to Green, who's hit at the line of scrimmage, breaks a tackle, and out near midfield. We'll call it the 49-yard line, a pickup of 6, and that'll move the chains for Colorado State. You mentioned mixing in the run, Sean, but again, with 11 minutes left here in this football game, you just have to have a sense of urgency. You got to pick up the pace a little bit.
Get in and out of the huddle quicker. It's not a sense of panic yet, but you got to get in the huddle, get the play called, get that thing snapped with about 8 to 10 seconds to go to give yourself some time.
Anderson comes across in motion. Play action. Ball deep. He's got Anderson in a tremendous catch, but they say no, he's out of bounds. Anderson left for the ball, and he's got everything just about he can get his hands on, but just slightly outside from the sophomore quarterback.
Nice job. You got to get at least 1 inbounds. Oh. Awesome effort. Couldn't drag that right toe. Unlike the NFL, just takes 1. Doesn't quite get it in, but nice concentration. Anywhere, if that ball's within 6 foot of him, he's going to make a catch. He's made them all night. He's made them all year.
Rams 7 of 10 tonight on 3rd down opportunities. This 3rd and 3. Holland in the flat to Dexter Wynn. And can't outrun the tackler. Blackman hauls him down at 50-yard line for a 1-yard gain, and
you got to go for it now.
Now you got to go for it, John.
You got to go for it. Yep, it's a no-brainer. You're down 2 touchdowns. Your defense has done a good job of holding them in the second half, but 28 points to 14. You got 2 touchdowns. They got to go for it.
And Sonny Lubick agrees. Fourth down, 70% this season, 14 of 20. Holland looking for the slant inside and picked off. No, now they say it's incomplete. Anderson, the intended receiver, and Paul Cook got there, and Anderson is still on the ground. Wow. That'll change the sides of possession. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Boston College will have the ball with a 2-touchdown lead. A look from McCovey Cove, where Barry Bonds sends a lot of his baseballs here at the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. Boston College now takes over on downs, 1st and 10. And Peterson comes out on the play action and finds a big tight end, Sean Ryan, down to the 38-yard line. And speaking of Paul Peterson, Jimmy Dykes has found a special guest. Jimmy?
Yeah, it's pretty special. I'm with Paul Peterson's wife, Megan. And Megan, your husband commits to Boston College, then he goes and visits the campus and then comes back and takes you on a 4-day drive to the campus. What were you thinking about the third day from Utah to Boston?
I was really excited. I was anxious to get there. I've never been to Boston, so I was excited. It was fun, a little scary, but exciting.
Grade your husband's performance so far through this ball game.
I'd say it's an A+. I think he has a few more touchdowns left in him, so let's wait and see.
Does he trust your opinion after a ball game to say, here's what you did good, honey, here's what you did bad?
Yeah, he does. He's just, it's good if he wins. If not, then it's kind of a sore night, but it's exciting, yeah.
All right, good to see you on New Year's. Happy New Year's to you.
You too.
All right. Hey, she wants my job, by the way, guys.
Yeah, so one day.
Well, put her on.
All right,
Here you go. You can have it.
Thank you.
I always, you know what, the good support. You could throw 5 interceptions. A+ performance. He's got a great job. And he has had a very good look at that performance. 7 different receivers. That's understanding. That's the most important part right there, Mark. He knows where he's throwing the football, getting everybody involved.
And as they measure, we should understand that nobody really talked to him coming out of Mount Snow Junior College, so he put together about 31 videotapes and sent them all out. And Boston College was the first to call back, and he accepted the deal, went out there, took a visit, then came home and loaded up Megan and took that 4-day drive. Again, 5,500 yards and 55 touchdowns in 28 games.
Great numbers. You come home and tap your good wife and say, hon, guess where we're going? We're headed out to Boston. Okay. Tell you what, it's worked out well for him, hasn't it?
He's a great
good for
player.
Those two. I think that's awesome.
He's a great player. When we asked him about his size, again, he's probably no more than 5'10", 5'11" at the max. He said, there's another short guy here. Doug Flutie had a pretty good career.
Yeah,
there's
he was okay.
Derek Knight down the left side, breaks a tackle, and touchdown Eagles. Boston College putting the icing on the cake, a 27-yard run by the senior running back out of Rockland, Massachusetts.
We talk Big East, we talk physical, talk allowing Derek Knight to get behind the big left side of the line. Nice movement inside, cave it down for the cutback. Now it's just pure speed. And then when initial contact's made, he gets in 8 more yards for the touchdown.
Again,
that's why he's the leading rusher of all time at Boston College, Mark.
There's no doubt about that. Again, the guy who got his hands on it first was Lucas Davis, who we've seen miss many tackles tonight. Sandro Shortino lines up now for the extra point.
All right, Mark, we're going to go back in time, pal. We're going back in time. I'm not the only one who catch 1978. No, that's not Magnum.
That's good
Malone at the helm. We're coming up. Mark Malone at the quarterback position.
Happy New Year, everybody, from San Francisco. The Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. Colorado State now trailing 35-14 to Boston College. 9:29 remaining here in the fourth quarter. Is that man, Derek Knight, has rushed the ball 23 times for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns on the evening.
He and Paul have been a nice compliment to each other, haven't they, Mark?
They certainly have.
When they flagged play action in there, Peterson's done a good job of spreading the ball around to those 7 different receivers. And you see Derek Knight 3 touchdowns. When they give it to him, he runs physical. He's made a lot of first guys miss throughout the night.
Wynn will take this kick from the 10-yard line. Out to the 40, and finally drugged down around midfield. Friday Capital One Bowl Week continues at ESPN's as Charlie Whitehurst and high-powered Clemson offense beat Casey Clausen and that Tennessee Volunteer team in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Coverage begins with a special College Game Day Bowl special at 3:30 Eastern Time. That'd be 12:30 Pacific. Complete bowl coverage, you can log on to ESPN.com.
And Van Pelt's back in.
Van Pelt is back in. Heard him say that he's going to have a surgery to remove that rod here in a couple more weeks. And he comes out throwing, then pulls it down and runs and cut on a dime. He's like a running back, hit hard and then dropped it about the 44-yard line. A pickup of 6. Tommy Martin was there on the tackle.
Amazing, Mark, how fleet of foot he is for as big as he is. He's every bit at 225, and we sat next to him yesterday. It's a big kid who's tough, He's always, like I said earlier, always decisive when he knows he wants to run. And he's got some moves. That's going to be a plus for him at the next level.
Oh, there's absolutely no doubt. You know the game is changing. You have to be able to extend the play now at the NFL level to have any success, in my opinion. And Pelt comes out throwing, and that is high. A flag on the play as Will Blackman was there in coverage.
Mark, you talked about extending the play, and your opinion's exactly right. We think about Culpepper, McNabb, Vick, McNair. A lot of these great quarterbacks now are able to keep plays alive with their feet.
Defense, spot foul, automatic first down.
And that's what people are looking for. I mean, you want a guy when something's not there that you can make a play and get something happening. And Van Pelt's been doing that his whole career here at Colorado State. With the pass interference call, it's a spot foul. It's a first down now at the 36.
Joey Flores, the intended receiver for the Rams. Here comes Jimmy Green off the left side and pounds his way down near the 25-yard line. And that's going to be good for a first down. And Bradley Van Pelt started running early on. San Marcos High School, Santa Barbara, California, and he had this talent early on. His father said, listen, you don't have to play football, but do something you like to do. Well, he liked to play football, and he liked to run it.
And he liked to run people over, too. He done himself right. And for those of you that don't remember, his dad, Brad Van Pelt, was an outstanding linebacker for the New York Football Giants, or number 10 at the linebacker position. And got his kid playing quarterback now.
Won 4 letters in high school playing football, and he throws that one deep, and it goes in and out of the hands of David Anderson. Will Blackman was there in coverage. So from high school, he goes to Michigan State, doesn't like it there, leaves, and off to Colorado State. And you can see what he's done, rushing the football, going back to 2001, 546, 819, and then 891 yards as a quarterback who, by the way, also threw the ball for nearly 2,700 yards in the regular season.
And we see steady improvement every single game with his, every single year with his feet, and it's been the same way with his arm.
Greason in motion, and Green carries the ball straight up the middle and hauls Josh Ott down to about the 22-yard line. If you're just joining us, wherever you are here in the United States, Happy New Year's. We are here at the Diamond Wallet San Francisco Bowl in Pac Bell Park. It's Colorado State and Boston College. I'm Mark Malone, along with Sean Salisbury, and Jimmy Dykes is working the sidelines for us. As you can see that by the score, Boston College has had a big first quarter and a big third quarter, and a lot of those points have come off of 4 interceptions thrown by Colorado State quarterbacks.
You've got to be awful special team to overcome 4 interceptions in a game. 35 points on the board, you're down 21. Got to make something happen here on this drive.
The bootleg off the counter move, and Van Pelt buys himself some time, throws it in the end zone, intended for Anderson, and it's in and out of his hands down around the 2-yard line. Paul Cook, the man they call Cookie, playing strong safety, is there to make the play.
Anderson here at the screen, number 4, has had a big night. Gets up in the hole. Ball's got to come out now. Ball's a little late now. Gives the safety a chance to drive on it, come on over, and break the play up. The second, when there's that 2 deep, the second he clears the corner, the ball has got to come out and be thrown on that line that just clears the corner's head a little bit late. I think, Mark, you mentioned about Van Pelt getting more polished. I don't think he's peaked at all. Do you?
Oh, absolutely
I think that he can get to somebody who continues to teach him and elevate his play as a thrower, and he'll be fine because he's got the things you can't teach with those great feet.
You talk to the coaching staff and the coordinators, they say they really don't say there's anything this kid can't do, because he'll die trying to prove people wrong.
He always says when you tell him he can't, that's when he wants to do it. So.
Scrambling to the left and hauled down at the 15 by Josh Ott, the co-captain linebacker, gain of 7 on the play. And
yeah, we're getting to that point in the game now, Mark, where we talked about the run, not abandoning it early, 6-7 minutes ago, but now it's time. You got to get in a hurry up. Wouldn't be a bad opportunity to sit here and say, let's get in a gun, or let's get in a hurry up and start playing football with a no-huddle situation, because you're 21 points down with less than 7 minutes to go. Got to pick up the tempo a little bit. And one of these days, Brad Van Pelt will learn how to slide, too. Well, he's great now. He's going to learn. He's a tough kid, but that's the way he plays. And his kids have taken on the personality of their quarterback on this team.
Straight drop back. He pulls it down and away he goes. Ott jumps in and pulls him down at the 10-yard line now. And Ott has become very active. He came into this ball game leading the team in tackles. He's a 3-year starter and from Silver Springs, Maryland, and they say he has a motor.
And Mark, you know, we got to give Boston College's defense credit. We talked about going into this game. You had the wacky, you know, Mountain West Conference against the physical Big East. Could they keep up with the formations and the different deployment? And Boston College defense has done a good job, other than 2 drives, of stopping Colorado State.
We sure have. As Dreesen now motions out to the flank. Green takes the ball up the middle and down around the 5-yard line, and then drags another tackler down to the 2. Matthias Kiwanuka is there to make the tackle. Well, again, you'd think at this point, with just under 6 minutes to play and down is what 3 touchdowns, that not being in the hurry up, they've almost conceded this game.
Yeah, you might want to get out of that huddle and play and forget getting in the huddle. Let's start out and run some 2-minute stuff in our 5 minute with 5 minutes left. You got to make some things happen.
Flat outside to Dreesen, and he's tackled immediately by Peter Sheen at the 1-yard line to prevent a touchdown.
So yeah, I mean, you know, now you huddle up because the ball's out of bounds, but you got to get up. You got to get up to the line of scrimmage and play football. There's not much time left, and I don't know if they're trying to work for 2004, Mark, but with 5 minutes to go, I've seen crazy things happen. So we know that they're still in it if they score here, and who knows, we'll cover an onside kick.
First, they must get it in the end zone. 3rd down and goal. Van Pelt takes it on the sneak, and touchdown, Colorado State. So with 5:27 left here in the 4th, the extra point will make it a 2-touchdown game, and Sonny Lubica then will have a decision to make. Do you onside kick the ball?
Is it too early, Mark, to onside kick for you?
Not sure. It's something you'd certainly have to consider.
His uniform is always like that too, isn't it?
It certainly is. Jeff Babcock lines up now for the extra point. It's up and it's good, and we have a 2-touchdown game. So Bradley Van Pelt, one of his 65 yards rushing, a quarterback sneak, and they're down by 2 with 5:27 remaining. Happy New Year's, everybody, at the Diamond Walnut San Francisco Bowl. Boston College, a big 4th quarter, leads 35-21 now with 5:27 remaining in this ball game. Sonny Lubick has to figure out what he's going to do, and an onside kick is certainly part of the equation, it looks like.
Well, you know, the way Boston College has controlled the ball and ran it and thrown it, I think you probably do got to take your chances with this, don't you, Mark? You're a 7-5 team. You're down by 2 touchdowns with 5+ to go. Why not? Gives you a chance to see if you can get back in. And if they do recover, now they go down and score. They may not have to kick the onside kick when they're down by 7 if there's 3 minutes or so left, because then you may be able to stop them, but they may have to do it twice in a row.
And one of the reasons we say that is number 14, Jeff Babcock, is out on the kicking team. We've been seeing Kevin Mark do all the deep kicking. Babcock is both the punter and the place kicker. Obviously, a little more deft touch is needed if you're going to kick the onside kick. The special teams coach for Boston College now has got his kids on the sideline and trying to get his hands team out onto the field.
We like to call that the old All-State team, don't we, Mark? Good hands people are out there. You get the people you trust the most with those hands, and the kicker's got to be real good at this, because a lot, you know, they've got to, there's an art to doing this.
Drive it in the ground, and there are different ways to do it, but probably the most successful is to kick the ball high and drive it in the ground. And that second bounce, the ball usually jumps straight up in the air.
And then it becomes a scrum, and you can go up and get your athletes up to get it.
So Babcock sets the ball down into the ground, and here we go. Oh, it doesn't bounce at all. Recovered immediately by T.J. Stansel, the starting free safety on the hands team.
Talk about a guy who's had a couple interceptions tonight, Mark. He's done a little bit of everything. Stancil has. He played on special teams, also made some tackles. Ball never gets that big hop you were talking about, Mark. It was just a nice roller to the shortstop. Easy play.
You need to have that big hop, and you're right. You just don't kick it and it happens. It's something you really have to work on. So Peterson comes on now at quarterback again for this Boston College team. And Derek Knight, 28 yards short of the single season record held by Mike Cloud at Boston College, gets the carry. They pick up about 2 yards. That'll make him 26 yards short. Courtney Jones was there on the stop for the Rams.
I'd like to see him get it, Mark.
Oh, I would too.
I'd like to see him get it. He's come this far. Give him a little workhorse. Give him about 3 or 4 more carries. See if he can get that record.
He's the all-time rusher at BC. He's the Big East's leading rusher this season, and he is number 3 in the country this year in terms of rushing yards.
Pretty good list at Boston College, too, Mark. William Green was there.
Yes.
You know, Mike Cloud, who's trying to win a Super Bowl there with the New England Patriots.
Absolutely. And I would imagine Derek's going to get some work here as they come back and hand the ball again to him. And stacked up at the line of scrimmage. It'll be no gain on the play as we check back in with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy?
Guys, a couple of thoughts on Derek Knight. When I walked out of the Pac-Bell Stadium with him yesterday, I said, what's Paul Peterson like in the huddle? And he stopped me and said, I tell you what, he holds every one of us accountable. I'm a senior. This is a first-year quarterback. But if I run a wrong route or I miss a blocking assignment, he will get right in my grill, and I respect him for it. He said he's a lot like last year's quarterback, Brian St. Pierre. My other thought on Derek Knight, remember yesterday we asked him, how many yards are you away from setting the single-season rushing record? His response, I think about 128. I think he knows where he's at.
He knew exactly how many yards he was away. There's absolutely no doubt about it.
Down to the inch, I can guarantee you that.
Meanwhile, we talked to Derek Knight about his various running styles and why he's had so much success. Here's what he had to say.
Somewhere between, I'd say probably an Amos Zaraway to maybe Tiki Barberish kind of a back. I like to feel my way through, but and use my speed and elusiveness. But I'm also a powerful runner like Amos. So I'd like to say Barry. He's my favorite running back, but I don't think that's really my style. Not as much shifty. I think I'm a good north-south runner.
He's a delightful young man, and again, it realizes he's a little on the small side at the next level. But I would not doubt this kid at all. He is certainly a player. Meanwhile, he talked about Peterson. By the way, the kid, Paul Peterson, is 23 years old, the starting quarterback. He did a mission in Nicaragua for 2 years before he went to junior college. So he is a little bit older and probably a little bit more assured of himself.
Well, what happens, Mark, they go away a boy and come back a man, and you learn
certainly do.
You grow up with those 2 years. Then Nicaragua, that's a tough road now for 2 years there.
Peterson picks up the first down on the scramble, a gain of 11. Adam Lancicero, the linebacker, is there to make the stop at about the 30-yard line.
Listening to Derek talk about his running style, and I can understand why he didn't want to compare himself to Barry, because very few should, right?
Exactly.
Little Tiki and Amos Zaraway is a pretty good combo. But Mark, tonight he's done a little bit of everything. He's taken it outside. He's run over a few people. He's made the first guy miss. He's also initiated contact. I like what I've seen from him. This isn't just a guy who takes it on the perimeter and doesn't want contact.
We talked to his head coach, Tom O'Brien, said, he's not super powerful, not super fast, but when you need a big run and a big part of the game, he comes up. And right now he's wrestled to the ground at about the 30 to Courtney Jones.
And have a look at this night, Mark, as we look at the different things that Derek Knight has done. And there's nothing flashy about him. He just gets it done. The inside. Take it in there. Make a few guys miss, get into the end zone. He gets the hard yards down inside the 5. Does it again, running people over with domination by the big guys. And then the cutback and the speed. You get to see this and the acceleration running through tacklers, getting into the end zone for the third of his 3 touchdowns. He's still chasing the record. What is he, about 20 yards shy now, Mark, somewhere around there?
He's chipping away.
Season record.
He's chipping away, absolutely. 2nd and 9.
Keep giving him the ball.
And he is dragged down for about a yard gain by Adam Lancicero. And that's going to bring up 3rd down at about 8. Maybe 9 yards.
And Mark, you made the mention about him kind of being a little bit slight, but when you look at his lower body, I mean, his glutes and his hamstrings and thighs, he's got a big lower, like all good runners do.
He does.
His lower body is powerful.
He's got the pistons in that motor to churn it, but if you're going to take people on with those pads, you got to have a little bigger upper body at the next level.
Yeah.
Slips outside and then caught up in the wash for about a yard gain on the play, perhaps.
I believe you continue to go for it, Mark. I don't think you bring on a field goal unit and kick. You probably just continue to try and run some clock and hand it to this kid again and go for the first down on 4th.
Moving down to the 2-minute mark left in this football game. I can't imagine we'll see Peterson throw the football the rest of the night.
They might even call timeout as it gets down to the end here and talk this over, Mark, as, you know, when it gets down to 3 or 2 seconds or so, and go over to the sidelines and visit about what they want to do. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Peterson's going to take it down to the end here and call timeout with a second left.
Tom O'Brien, the head coach at Boston College, on the verge of winning his 4th consecutive bowl game. And there are not many coaches around the country that can say that.
Okay, Mark, let's go back to 1978, buddy. What bowl game was this? Come on, look at you. Arizona State quarterback. Now, you want to talk about a fleet of foot guy, could make some plays. See, Mark, you talk about all these good runners. Going to get out of the option and make a throw. Why are all his plays good? I guess because he made more plays than I did.
Well, first of all, we weren't playing Penn State. We were playing Rutgers in that always famous Garden State Bowl. I think that lasted about 2 years, and then it no longer was. But somebody asked me about that the other day. I should have known you guys would dig up some video on that. I said I didn't remember. I took a ding in the head early, and I didn't remember the rest of the game.
Well, what is 2004 now? We go back to 78, we're buying 81. Oh, man. Let's look at some numbers here, too, Mark. We got to check these out, see what your numbers are.
All right, my numbers. 13 of 31. Under 50%, not good, but, hey, 5 touchdowns.
3 passing, 4 interceptions. Look at those records.
Those
Mark.
are records?
3 passing. Yeah, you got some records.
Wow.
Let's see what they don't know about. Well, I mean, you know this, but Mark was a great decathlete in high school, did it all.
That's back when I was...
When would you run the 40 in, Mark, at 225?
I was 233 pounds and ran it in 4.42.
See, that's you were big and fast before quarterbacks were big and fast.
Right.
That's disgusting.
Then I ate myself right out of the league.
Dude, I had for me to run 4.4, it would have been about a 32-yard, 40-yard dash.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we're back to action here. Here comes Derek Knight running it on 4th down to about the 25-yard line before Courtney Jones, the linebacker, makes the stop.
A couple old midlife crisis guys trying to read.
Yeah, I'll have to have a talk with our producer Steve Turnberger tonight at the bewitching hour of New Year's on the West Coast.
He is going down eventually.
Yes,
we will get him.
For finding that beautiful piece of video. So a change of possession now as Derek Knight heads to the sidelines and in all likelihood will not get the record. Mike Cloud will continue to keep the record for single-season rushing yards. Bradley Van Pelt is back in the football game for Colorado State.
I'm still thinking 6'4", 233 pounds running 4.4 something, Mark. Good gracious.
Wasn't bad in a straight line. The problem is I couldn't change direction as quickly as Bradley Van Pelt. That was my problem. Speaking of a guy that could change direction, Derek Knight, our Capital One player of the game. 29 carries, 110 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the night for Mr. Knights. Just 18 yards short of that record for a single season rushing yards, currently held by Mike Cloud.
Mark, you know the most impressive thing is with those 29 carries, even though he's slight, to be able to show these people, the scouts, that he gets to carry it that many times and can make that happen. Very, very good for him to show him that he can be that durable that late.
Van Pelt badly overthrows David Anderson, and Will Blackman makes the interception at the 39-yard line. And Derek Knight might get another shot at this thing.
Let me give it to him. He's thinking, oh, thank you very much for that pick. 5 interceptions tonight, Mark. Scoreboard will tell that, 35-21.
Yeah, you can't win football games turning the football over, even though it was a valiant effort from Bradley Van Pelt, who did not start this game and limps off the sideline. And
nobody's ever going to question his toughness so hard, are they?
And I would imagine his pride is hurting as much as his body at this point.
You bet.
Derek Knight lines back up again for Boston College. And takes the ball over the middle. Finds some running room, breaks a couple of tackles, and carries 2 more defenders, including Luke Davis, out to the 27-yard line, a pickup of 12. So now
inside of 10 yards for Knight.
Under 10 yards for Derek Knight. Needs 7 yards to own virtually every rushing record at Boston College. Under a minute to play. And Knight will get nothing on that at all. Swarmed by the defense. The first to get there, Master Paulo and Goodpaster. You can see Bradley Van Pelt is in some discomfort right now. Not sure if it's the hand or a leg, but
emotions also fly, Mark. You know, when you play your last game of your college career, a successful one, you're physically hurt. He's got his left hand hurting too, which is not the one that's hurt. You see that big gash on his left hand. I imagine he took a helmet to that thing. So both the hands are beat up. He's tired. He's had a great career. And they're moving on to the next level.
Down now, under 10 seconds to play, as Paul Peterson will take the victory stance, the knee. And Boston College will pick up their 4th consecutive bowl victory. 35-21 the final, and Derek Knight comes up 7 yards short of the single season rushing record at Boston College. But a great night for him.
Peterson played well, Mark. Did a nice job of being efficient.
Job. Jimmy Dykes is standing by with the player of the game. Jimmy?
Derek, you come up just a few yards short, buddy, of setting that all-time single-season rushing record, but you get the win.
I know that you know the record's okay as long as we get the W, and that's what we came here. That's what we work all season to do, and that's what we came here to do.
How proud of you of your accomplishments to be the all-time leading rusher at Boston College?
Very proud. It's something that you really never even imagine yourself doing, but you get there, and as soon as it happens, it's like a blink of an eye, and it's something that it puts me, you know, up in the names with great ones like Mike Cloud, Troy Stratford, and it's something that I'll cherish forever.
You talked a lot yesterday about your offensive line. They did it for you again tonight.
Absolutely. They came to play, and, you know, that's I've grown accustomed to that. They come to play every game, so I was very proud of them tonight, and, you know, we just got the win. That's all that matters.
And now you get to stay here a few more days for the East-West Shrine game, huh? Another trip to Alcatraz.
Absolutely. I'll be going to Alcatraz again, so it's good. I'll see San Francisco a little bit more, stay, and, you know, have an all-star game, so I'm proud of that, too.
Okay, buddy. Best of luck to you. I wish you a great future.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Jimmy, thank you very much. That's Tom O'Brien there, the head coach of Boston College. You mentioned the offensive line. They got back Chris Snee, 6'2", over 300 pounds, who will play certainly in the National Football League. A guy who can stand flat-footed under a basket at over 300 pounds and reverse dunk with both hands. My goodness.
Athletic.
Well, Tom O'Brien gets some congratulations after beating Colorado State 35-21. We'll be back with more coverage right after this.